Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the good and bad of Mortal Kombat 11. I decided to do this podcast because with the release of Guilty Gear Strive, it gave us a fresh perspective on Mortal Kombat 11. Because near the end of Mortal Kombat 11, near the end of its life cycle, most people's outlook on the game has not been very positive. But on the release of Guilty Gear Strive, after people moved to Guilty Gear Strive, people began to realize how good we had it with MK11, right? It's like that saying goes. What is it? You don't know what you got until it's gone. Yeah. So now we want to take a look back at MK11. What was good about it? What was bad about it? And to with me, I have a very special guest, Evil Spawn. I'm sure you guys know him. He is one of the best MK11 players on PC. I'm sure. I think both me and him have like over 2,000 hours on this game. Is it that right, Evil Spawn?
Yeah, about 1.k hours for me.
Yeah, I have like over 2,000 on this game, and yeah, we want to talk about it. And I wanted to do this, as a stream on Twitch because I want to hear what you guys think too. I want this to be a discussion. I'm not just gonna be telling you what I think and end it there. I want you guys to tell me what you think too. Okay. All right, let's just go ahead and get started. First, we'll start with the good. What we like about the game. All right. Firstly, the game sold very, very well. Okay, this is undeniable, right? It is, I think, the best-selling fighting game of recent years. It sold, more than Street Fighter Five, more than Tekken 7, more than Soul Calibur, more than like every fighting game of recent years. I mean, I have like five other fighting games that have released in recent years to compare with MK11. Maybe For Honor doesn't quite belong there, but I needed 6 games for this layout to work, so just roll with it, okay? It's a fighting game. Yes, For Honor is a fighting game. I consider it a fighting game, and I wanted to keep it here because we're gonna need it for our discussion later. We don't know how many copies have sold of For Honor because it went free to play for a while, so it's kind of weird. And of course, Guilty Gear Strive just came out, so why didn't I use Dragon Ball? That's a good question because we already have Guilty Gear Strive in here, and I don't want to have 2 games from the same developer, right? Because then if we add Dragon Ball Fighter Z, then I might as well add Mortal Kombat X and like Tekken 6 or whatever. So I figured let's just keep it 1 game per developer. But yeah, MK11, literally the best selling fighting game of recent years. And now you might think, why does that even matter? I'll tell you why. Because great sales mean there's a large player base. Okay, having a large player base means you're gonna spend less time searching for games. You're gonna be more likely to find somebody with a good connection because there's more people playing, because more people have bought the game, and also you're more likely to find someone near your skill level. I mean, in these other games, I'm sure like I think MK11, Street Fighter 5, and Tekken 7, you won't have any problems finding games. Especially Street Fighter 5 since it has crossplay, and I think it's the only one in this list that has crossplay. I know Guilty Gear Strive said that they'll work on it in the future, but that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 11, large player base, very good stuff. Uh, Second thing I wanted to mention was the reviews. When this game, so by the way, Evil Spawn, if you want to say anything, go ahead and interrupt me. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Don't worry.
Okay. Second thing I want to mention is the how great the reviews were for this game. Okay. So when it first came out, it got 82 on Metacritic, and if you guys don't know what Metacritic is, it's a website that collects reviews from a bunch of other websites and then gives you like the average. So the average for MK11 was 82. For Street Fighter 5 on release was 74, which wasn't too great, but there was a lot of backlash when Street Fighter 5 first released, which was in 2015. But as time passed, the review scores have improved. So the same thing happened with MK11. Also, the review scores improved when they released MK11 Ultimate. Right? They added a bunch more characters. Also there was the aftermath story mode. Custom variations became a thing. But yeah, as you can see, MK11 is like the second highest on this list in terms of reviews. It's only second to Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive does have high reviews, but to be fair, it has just came out, and there's a lot of publications haven't reviewed Guilty Gear Strive yet. But I imagine in the future it'll be around the same range as Tekken 7 or Mortal Kombat, like around 83, 82.
Although,
But
admittedly, when Mortal Kombat 11 first came out, the user scores and the user reviews were pretty terrible, right? I think the user score on Metacritic for MK11 is still like 3.7 out of 10, because I remember when the game came out on PC, it was like a very bad port. Like no one could play the game. And I think they came out with like like 5 different currencies, and you could barely get any currency, and everything was locked in the crypt, and you weren't getting anything. You didn't even get like any hearts for playing online, and all that stuff did get fixed. Did get fixed over time.
You're right,
But,
actually. And the user scores are still terrible, by the way. It's still 3.7 for PlayStation 4.
3.7, yeah.
For PC, wait, let me see what it is for PC. PC is 3.1. I don't know why, to be honest. I don't know why exactly.
Well,
shut the hell up, Gorog.
PC still has the PC. Yeah, PC still has the what's it called? I think PC exclusively has the hacker problem, where every 2 games you connect online, then you'll have like someone desync you, or of course the PC port in the beginning was pretty bad. I think they fixed it by now. But I think the desync issue, like on your server where you have that channel with all the the huge list of desyncers, and you're trying to play online, you're gonna play with someone and not get any points because they keep desyncing. I think that's a PC exclusive issue. I think that's why the scores might be a little bit lower.
Yeah, it's strange. I see some people complaining about SJWs. A lot of complaints about microtransactions.
The fuck?
But this stuff is not only unique to Mortal Kombat 11. Like if I recall correctly, I think Street Fighter 5 had the same issue with like user scores being really low. Let me check actually. I believe it. Yeah, same thing for Street Fighter 5. 3.2
Street
user
Fighter 5 had a
scores.
pretty terrible launch as well. Yeah.
Yeah, from the ones that I checked, Tekken 7 was the only one that had a positive user score. 6.8, which is still pretty low. But I mean, honestly, there's not that many people that actually leave scores on Metacritic. I think most people would only come to leave a score or leave a review if they got something to complain about. You know what I mean? Most people that like the game won't even bother going and talking about their experience and so on. So I wouldn't really pay too much attention to these user scores. Right, let's get back to the presentation. Here we go. Okay, so great sales, great reviews. Normally this is like all that matters for a video game, but fighting games are different. Fighting games are different because they're meant to have longevity, right? And they're meant to be very competitive. They're meant to be deep. People play them for insane amount of hours, like over 1,000, over 2,000, like me, if you're crazy enough like me. So it's not enough to just have great reviews, because most of these reviews will come out after the reviewer will play the game for like 100 hours, and that's definitely not enough time to fully learn a fighting game, right? I mean, it took me at least maybe 1,500 hours to really get good at MK11. Okay, MJ, thank you for that Prime sub. Thank you very much. So these reviews are like very shallow level reviews. You get what I'm saying? Because it takes a while for you to really learn a fighting game. So on the surface level, MK11 is almost a perfect fighting game on a surface level. But once you get deeper into it, deeper into the mechanics, deeper into the competitive side of the game, you begin to see the issues. But we'll get to that later. But I just want to explain that all of these reviews right here, they're all very surface level. These are very surface level reviews. These don't get into how balanced these games are, or how good they are competitively, or how good the netcode is. None of that really is taken into consideration with these reviews. These are like reviews that will come out, a couple of weeks after the game comes out. That's it. Which is, obviously not enough time to learn a fighting game. Right. The third point I want to mention is that MK11 has top tier visuals. Out of all these other games mentioned here, MK11 is by far the best looking. By far. Okay, and I got some screenshots to show you guys. And I want you to honestly tell me what you think, and tell me out of these games which one looks best. Alright, we got MK11 first. Street Fighter 5. Alright, you got Tekken 7. And we got Guilty Gear Strive. Okay, I want you guys to honestly look at these and just tell me which one looks best. Because for me, it's not even close. It's not even a close decision. Yeah, For Honor looks good. I didn't really get any screenshots for comparison because obviously it looks very different. It would be hard to like take a screenshot from For Honor and compare it to these games because it's not really like the characters are not placed the same way. You know, it would be hard to compare, I think. But For Honor is a very good looking game too, for sure. But still, I would say it's not on the level of MK11. But it's definitely up there. For Honor is up there. But you know, these other fighting games, it's not even close. It's not even close. They don't even come close to how good MK11 looks. MK11 definitely comes closer to realism. Yeah, I agree. SNK, 100%. Like even if you,
I think. Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I think if we're talking from a technical standpoint, I think obviously no one can argue that something like Mortal Kombat 11 would be the best looking one, especially with like how detailed the face animations are, like the
Mm.
introduction animations and the
Oh
end
yeah.
screen animations. Even though you sometimes just want to skip them, but like they're really impressive when you watch them.
Yep. The
But I think
intros.
also that it is kind of subjective in the sense that what type of visuals that people prefer. So, for example, me personally, even though
Mm.
I can tell you, I can just say, MK11 is technically, from a technical standpoint, the most impressive game visually out of the list that you have here. I'm personally more of a fan of the more stylistic art style, like things like Street Fighter V with the super crazy designs, like
Mm.
Nikali in the picture below with like super long hair, and he's like
Yeah, yeah,
hunched back, and when he powers up, his hair like starts floating, and it's like super
yeah,
red.
yeah, yeah.
I think that stuff is like for me personally. I think I prefer the stylistic visual style like better. But I think from a technical standpoint, I think anyone would be crazy to argue that, for example, something like MK11 is not the most technically impressive game out of the bunch.
Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. I mean, obviously, in terms of visuals, it's something that is artistic, so obviously it's going to be subjective. But I do think it's interesting that you mentioned Street Fighter Five, but not Guilty Gear. What do you think about how Guilty Gear looks? Do you like it or do you not like it?
See, I think so. So I think guilty. Sorry. I think something like Street Fighter Five is like in a very like nice middle ground, like right. So it's like it's not
Right.
like too anime, it's not too
Yeah.
realistic. It's like somewhere in a
Exactly.
nice little middle ground. Something like Guilty Gear Strive, like it is going to be a lot more divisive. I think. Like if you don't like the anime art style, you're just not gonna like how Guilty Gear looks, right? Like this is one of
Right.
those like really divisive ones. I think Street Fighter Five is like in that really nice sweet spot in the middle, where it's like not too realistic and not too anime like. It's just like the perfect little middle ground for me. But yeah, I think Guilty Gear Strive for me, I think it looks good, but I can see why a lot of people wouldn't even like how it looks like just because of the very, very strong anime art style in that game.
Right, right. I definitely get what you're saying. But yeah, Street Fighter Five is probably, it's also, I would say, second place for me. Like MK11 is top, I would say, and then Street Fighter, Tekken, and then Guilty Gear. To be honest, I'm not at all a fan of the anime art style, but this is, I may be alone in this, right? I know that most people enjoy anime very much and they like this art style, but I am not a fan. But
It's definitely
all,
a very divisive, yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All this is subjective, but I do have another screenshot I want to show, which is just the amount of detail in the character models in MK11. I think is just absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen any other game reach this amount of detail with the outfits of the characters, with the gear, with the, as you mentioned, the facial animations. Like it's insane how realistic they look. Just the Beavis, thank you for the subscription, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. But just you can see the amount of detail that is in every single character and every single outfit in this game is just unparalleled. It's incredible. It's really amazing. And I mean, you guys might think that visuals maybe they don't matter that much, but uh, visuals heavily impact the watchability of the game. All right, and the game being more enjoyable to watch because it looks better means there's going to be more demand for MK11 events and so on, and that means more tournaments, right? And more larger prize pools because there's more people watching, right? So it creates a huge impact on the game, the visuals. Even if you're the type of person that doesn't care about graphics, doesn't care about visuals, maybe you just want solid fighting game mechanics. You don't care about the visuals. It still matters. The visuals will still affect you indirectly, so it matters very much. And MK11 is definitely you know, top of the line when it comes to visuals. Top of the line with the intros, the outros, the fatalities, the fatal blows. I mean, it looks amazing. Even for people who have, they don't know anything about fighting games, they can still enjoy watching fatalities. That's why there's, fatality compilations on YouTube with like 5 million views. Everybody loves to see that stuff. It's amazing. And is there anything else you want to add about visuals before we move on, Evil Spawn?
Nope, it's I agree with most everything you said. Yeah,
All right.
like I legit have nothing, no disagreements whatsoever.
All right, cool. Another thing I want to mention is the amount of characters that the game has. Now, at first glance, you might see, okay, it has less characters than Street Fighter V and Tekken 7, but I want you to notice that on release, MK11 had the most amount of characters in the game. You know, Street Fighter V having low reviews on release was, heavily due to the fact that it had only, a small number of characters, and then the rest of them were going to be DLC. Right, same thing with Tekken 7, right? It had sort of I guess you could say, somewhat of a small character pool. I mean, 20 is it's a good number. It's not too small, but it's not as good as MK11. But also, I think another thing that's important to mention, MK11 released in 2019. All right, keep that in mind. Street Fighter V released in 2015, and Tekken 7 also released in 2015. Okay, so these games had a lot of time to add more characters, right? MK11 gave us 37 characters in just 2 years, right? And we don't really know if the game is dead yet. They might give us another combat pack. We might see more characters in the future. It's hard to say, but it's nice that we got a large number of characters even on release. So,
but what do you say against the complaint that it's definitely something that I've seen a lot on Twitter and stuff like that, where people say that even though Mortal Kombat has a lot of characters, especially on release when the game first came out, but compared to something like Street Fighter V, where there was like these comparison screenshots, there isn't enough character representation in tournaments. Where, for example, the picture I saw, I remember like a few months back, it's been a while. It's like it showed like a Street Fighter V like top 8, where I think 6 or 7 of the characters were completely different characters, like representing most of the characters. And then next to it was like a Mortal Kombat screenshot where it showed like 2 Liu Kangs, 3 Jackies, and like 2 Cetrions or something like that. Whereas we don't really see out of term representation for a lot of the other characters, despite having a lot of characters on release and added as DLC later.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think all these other games, when they see characters underperforming, they're quick to give them buffs. But in MK11, unfortunately, we don't see that very often. So I think the top tier in MK11 almost never changes, because I mean we see nerfs. Like we see a decent amount of nerfs in the game in MK11, but buffs are like very rare to see. So usually the top tiers don't change too much. So maybe that's why we don't see a lot of representation.
It's pretty insane. Like Jackie Briggs has been top tier since the game came out. Like I remember, like back even before the third variation. I remember she had her the grappling variation, the tournament grappling. That she was top tier when she first came out, and it's been like 2 years since the game came out, and she is still like the best character in the game. It is pretty insane.
And it's not just her; it's Liu Kang also. Liu Kang, Sechion. These characters have been top 5 ever since the beginning of the game. Yep. These characters have been top 5 since the beginning of the game, and they still are.
Like it's so insane. Yeah, it's so insane. Like it's one of the saddest things ever. Like Mortal Kombat 11 has such a diverse character roster. Like characters like Devora, who have like really cool set play with the bug on the ground, right? And like but you never see characters like that, or like very rarely. I think Honeybee likes to play her in tournaments. But it's very unfortunate that when you watch tournaments of MK11, it's the exact same 2 characters, exact same 3 characters, since like 2 years, like since the game first came out. It's one of the saddest things for me personally. But we'll talk about that later when we talk about like patches and balance patches and stuff.
Yeah, when you watch any finals of any MK11 tournament, there's like a 25% chance you'll see a Liu Kang, 25% chance you'll see a Jackie Briggs, and then like a 0.5% chance you'll see something like a Collector. Or a Devora, like you mentioned, or a Scholar.
And the 0.5% chance is Sonic Fox. That's it. He'll play them one tournament, win it, and then you'll never play them again.
It's funny that both of those characters you mentioned he has played in the past.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he won the tournament with both of them as well, right? He won the tournament with Devora, and he won the tournament with Collector.
No, with Collector he got second place. I remember. Second place.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I think did he win with Devora, or was it also second place?
No, he won with Devora. I'm pretty sure he played against Ninja Kill, and he had that epic reverse 3. Like a reverse 3-0, right? I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I don't know. That was like very early years of MK11, so I don't remember, to be honest.
Very early, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not an issue that top tier characters stay the same, but it sucks to see that they barely get any competition. Like you'd think that by now Shao Kahn would be a contender for a very strong character, but he still is extremely extremely weak. You'll never see Shao Kahn in tournaments unless you're watching like video games, and that's literally it,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And same goes for the other 15 characters that we haven't mentioned. There's not really that much competition for the top tiers. There's like maybe 5, 10 characters, and then beyond that is like a big gap, and then the rest of the guys get lumped in. But we'll talk about the negatives later. We'll talk about the negatives
For sure.
later.
Yeah,
We'll get into that later.
yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that's cool is the amount of customization in this game, and I've come to appreciate this very much. When I saw the lack of customization in Guilty Gear Strive, it really upset me with that you only get to color swaps, and that's literally it. In MK11, you get to change outfits, 3 pieces of gear. You can change intros and outros, and just the outfits alone, you get around 52 options. Each piece of gear, you get around 30 options, and you can place augments on those pieces of gear. I mean, to be fair, augments don't really matter if you're playing online, which is the majority of your time. But still, just having this vast amount of customization makes the game just so much more. It makes it so when you pick a character and you customize it the way you want it to, it feels like it's you. You know what I mean? Like my Gearist, for example, doesn't look like any other Gearist you'll see. So whenever you see my Gearist playing a tournament, just looking at how he looks, you'll know it's me because he looks so unique to every other Gearist, right? Or when I see somebody's Scorpion, when I see somebody's Sub-Zero, everybody's got their own signature look, and I think it's really really fucking cool. It's really cool, and it's sad that we don't really get to have that in Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of those things where I 100% agree. I love the customization in MK11. It's just like you said. I like having I remember when I used to play a lot back in the day. I used to have like three variations with the exact same skills, but 3 different skins. So I could just keep swapping around because they all look so cool, right? And I also even a little bit disagree about the augments because for a casual player who just buys the game, I think that even adds more. Because my little brother back in the day used to play out of MK11, and he used to like really love the augments. Like he used to just go to the towers and go to the crypt and like equip like different augments, and he's like, "Oh, this is like so cool, right?" So I think even that adds even a higher level of customization for casuals, and I think that's one of the best things. Where how MK11 sells the game to casuals as well. Good story mode, good like tower modes, stuff like that. But this is a different kind of topic. But yeah, the customization MK11, the intros, the brutalities, the everything's just super cool. I love it.
Yeah, you're right, and I'm glad you mentioned augments for casual players because to be honest, when I just got into MK11 and I wasn't much of a competitive fighting game player, I thought augments were so cool because it made me feel like I can play this game kind of like an RPG, right? Because you get to level up stuff, you get to equip things and abilities, and then you get better at beating towers and you unlock more stuff, and then you add more augments, and it just seemed so cool to me in the
It's really
beginning.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
pretty awesome. I mean, maybe for for most of the people watching right now, and for us too, augments like are so out of our minds. We don't really care about them anymore because we basically just
Yeah,
play competitively now. But as a way to encourage people to get into the game, and as a way to allow people that just started playing the game to have a lot of fun in the beginning. It's really cool. I think augments are really really cool.
I think the only like even slightly negative thing you could say about the customization is that some characters have like wasted slots. Like for example, Scarlet with the blood vial on her side, which you like literally
Yeah.
can't see, or Sub Zero's like small grenades on his side. These feel like kind of wasted slots, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely, some characters do get the short end of the stick when it comes to gear customization. Uh, like, I definitely think we had a better system in Injustice 2. We had a much better customization system, I think. But still, like, I think these, like, if you compare the customization in these NRS games to any other game, it'll be hard to find a competition, right? It's still so good.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right, another thing I want to mention is how great the story mode was. Okay, now me before I became a competitive player, I played MK9, I played MKX, I played Injustice 1, I played Injustice 2. I was never a competitive player in any of those games. In fact, I barely touched online. I just played those games for the story modes. I bought the whole game just for the story mode. That's how good it was. That's how much fun it was for me because it wasn't just the type of like short, half-assed story mode that you finish in like 2 hours and then you throw away and forget about it. No, the story modes in these NRS games are actually really, really long. Like I think some of them take even 20 to 30 hours or something ridiculous like that. They're very long. The cutscenes are incredible. It could literally be a movie, and it gives you a good introduction to every character, their backstories, and also like how you play them. Because during the story mode, you play everybody. So after you finish the story mode, you can have like a good idea about, okay, I think I want to main that guy because when I played him in the story mode, he was really cool. I really enjoyed playing him. So it's like such a good, starting point into the game. So I really think a good story mode is very necessary for a fighting game, just to get you into the world, figure out the characters, figure out who you like, and figure out who your favorite character is.
Yeah, for sure. And they let you try out like most of the characters, right? Like every section is like 5 games with a different character. So yeah, you're right. Just like try out all the characters and see which one you like the most in the story mode too. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
agree. This
Yeah.
NRS story modes are pretty insane.
All right. Some more points I want to mention. I mean, the stuff that we mentioned so far is like general stuff that I think everybody can understand, even casual players. But now I want to get into the more, I want to get into the nitty gritty of the game, especially the when we look at it from a competitive standpoint. This is the stuff that only shows itself after you've put in, at least 1,000 hours into the game, right? So these are like, now we want to get into the specifics, right? But we're still talking about the good stuff. So firstly, let's talk about the netcode, right? Now, for somebody like me that lives in Saudi Arabia, right, there's not that many players here. So having good netcode is essential to me. Like for somebody living, in Japan or somewhere in Europe, having good netcode might not matter that much to you. But for somebody like me, games like Street Fighter 5 or Tekken 7 are borderline unplayable. Because half the time the games I get are going to be very high ping, and because the netcode is so bad, it's absolute chaos on screen. I cannot play. I cannot enjoy the online experience. So this game having good netcode actually allowed me to, be a part of the European community, even though I'm not in Europe. But just because the netcode is so good, I can play with every player from Europe, and it would be an amazing experience. And I think out of all the fighting games that we mentioned earlier, the only one that really comes close to how good the netcode is of MK11 is Guilty Gear Strive. I guess you could mention. I guess you could say For Honor also has really good netcode, but it's hard to make a comparison with For Honor because it's a very different fighting game. But I still do think it's a fighting game. So I just wanted to mention how important it is to have good netcode in a fighting game. Anything you want to add, Evil Spawn?
No, I agree. It's like you said, the only actual game which has even comparable. I would say even a little bit better, but I mean that's not really saying much since they're both so great.
Yeah.
The only game with even comparable netcode is Guilty Gear Strive, and I live in Jordan, so obviously I can't just play Street Fighter 5. I cannot play that game since it's like I can't find anyone to play with, and if I find someone to play with, it's gonna be super laggy. So I'm glad like games like MK11 and Guilty Gear Strive do exist to actually let us play with people from Europe and the US.
Yeah, like you mentioned with Street Fighter 5, like I remember I got it when the game first came out actually, and I was trying really hard to get good at it and play online, but I just could barely find a game. And when I did, it was terrible ping, and it was just the experience was just terrible. It's sad that
Yeah, it's so
I
sad.
believe
Yeah.
even though I believe Street Fighter 5 is a great game and I'd love to play it, it's very difficult to. I mean, now that they have crossplay, I think it made things easier because now you're more likely to find good games because obviously the majority of the player base is going to be on console and not play on PC. So having crossplay means I'm not connected to the console player base, so I'm more likely to find players with good connection. So that has improved over time, but it's sad that we didn't have that from the beginning. If the game had good
Mhm.
netcode, I'd probably be a competitive Street Fighter 5 player right now. I'd be joining tournaments and having tons of fun. But unfortunately, he doesn't have good netcode. Hopefully, in Street Fighter 6,
Sure.
he'll get better netcode. Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see how it goes.
Another thing is that it's a neutral heavy game. Okay. Now, sure, there's a lot of things in the game that ignore neutral. We'll get into that later. But I think, for the most part, I think we can all agree that MK11 is a neutral heavy game, and that's a good thing because, in my opinion, it's the greatest thing about fighting games is neutral. or footsies, right? I believe that's like the most fun part about fighting games. And the problem is that it takes a very long time of playing the game to really understand how neutral works and how footsies work. It takes a very long time for you to even like begin to enjoy it. So that's why I think most games don't really, care about it. They just give you this sort of these like kind of, I guess you could say, surface level mechanics, right? Like fadeable, for example. That's just a button you press and then some fun stuff happens on screen. Great, right? But once you get deeper into the game, that those type of mechanics hurt the game more than anything. But footsies, neutral, those type of mechanics, they're gonna that's what carries the game. 5 years after its release, right? So I'm really glad that they took this step from Injustice 2 and from MKX rather than being like completely rushed down in mix-ups like MKX or being like completely zoning on projectiles like Injustice 2. I'm glad that they took this direction in MK11 where they became more footsie based, more riff punishes, more more centered around movement and so on. I think that's really the best part about fighting games, and I'm glad MK11 focused on that part of the game.
Yeah. For sure. I think personally, for me, as a player, I think the game being neutral heavy is both the best and the worst part of the game because when you actually play a neutral game with another character and it's like you're both playing neutral, both playing footsies, it's like a lot of fun, right? Like you're really engaged. But the moment as like you said before, the moment someone has a fuck neutral move, it's that much more noticeable because it's like so out of place in the game. I mean, I don't want to say any specifics, but like Jackie's leap over the screen, I think that's a very proper fuck neutral move. So it's like if I play against like Aaron Black and we're all both like playing neutral, it's like so much fun, trying to poke out each other with punish and do all that stuff. It's so cool, right? But if I play a game like against something like Jackie, who could just like leap halfway through the screen and give me a full screen punish with like for 40% damage, so it becomes so much more noticeable, right? So for
Yeah,
me, it's
yeah.
like both like the best part of the game, and at the same time, it's also kind of the worst part of the game because so many characters do have those fuck neutral moves.
Yeah, yeah, it's really unfortunate. Yeah, like suddenly there's this game that you love, and then you play against a certain character, and suddenly you're playing a completely different game, completely different. But we'll get into that when we talk about the negatives of the game. We're still talking about the positives in the game. And by the way,
For sure.
if anybody in the chat wants to join voice chat and Discord and just speak their mind to tell us what they have, feel free to ask. Okay, I think Scoseca said that he wanted to join. So Scoseca, if you want to join, let me know. Right. Another thing that I really like, and this became very noticeable when I played Guilty Gear Strive. This became very, very noticeable, right? There's something that I like about MK11, which is that the slow pace of the game gives you a lot of time to react and make decisions and counter mashing, right? I mean, the game isn't, I wouldn't call the game slow, but especially compared to something like Guilty Gear Strive or like Dragon Ball Z, it is much, much slower. And that's a good thing. In Guilty Gear Strive, when somebody, does a poke and I block it, I barely have enough time to react and then go for, press a button to take my turn. It's near impossible. But in MK11, because everything has, a certain amount of block stun, and just everything is like a bit slower, a bit slowed down, it gives you so much time to react to things, so much time to make decisions, right? That way the game is more around, using your brain, making decisions rather than just pressing buttons and mashing, right? It's more decision oriented. Wouldn't you agree, Evil Spawn?
Yeah, this is one of those points where I 100% agree. And as you said, I noticed it a lot more after I played Guilty Gear Strive, where like people are like whiffing DPs, bro, and I still get like mashed on after they whiff a DP and stuff like that, or some guy does like a minus move on block and he's like mashed like down P like 10,000 times or down one, and I get mashed. This is one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is something I really liked about MK11. Like this stuff is very rarely happen. Very very rarely gonna happen in MK11, right? He does a poke, it's -5. I'll do my 9 frame mid and I'll stop it, right? Or I'll do my 11 frame mid and I'll try to stop it. It's like easy like to think about. But yeah, I 100% agree with you on this point. I have nothing to say against it.
Yeah, all right. Jared, if you want to join us, let us finish these 10 points. I think this is the end of, yeah. This is the end of the section where we talk about the good stuff about the game. After we finish this section, I'll let you join us, Jared, okay? Right. Now then, the last thing I want to mention which is that almost all mix-ups are reactable or fuzzyable. All mix-ups in MK11 are either reactable or fuzzyable. Not all of them, but like 90% of them. And that's a good thing, I think, because as I mentioned here between the brackets, guessing is not fun. At least in my opinion. I think most people can agree guessing is not fun. I don't think anybody plays a fighting game so they can flip a coin. I think that's
for real? Oh, for real?
in certain situations. I think guessing is kind of necessary just so you can open up the opponent, but having every character having a 50-50 like in Guilty Gear Strive. I mean, I don't know if it's everybody. Maybe it's too soon to say if they're real 50-50s or not. But mix-ups are definitely very strong in that game. Or like in MKX, for example, the amount of guessing in that game is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't think it's. I think it's one of the least enjoyable parts of the game is the guessing game. So I'm glad that almost every mix-up in this game is either reactable or fuzzyable with enough practice. I really, really appreciate that.
Man. Oh man, does he have a?
Yeah, I think it's too soon to say for Guilty Gear. Personally, I don't know if it's gonna get better or worse as time goes on regarding the mix-ups and crazy stuff like that. But yeah, for MK11, I agree. Like I think almost 99% of even stuff like Sub-Zero's forward 2 and back 3, right? Like I know a lot of people complain about it, but you watch tournaments, right? And you watch people block the forward 2 like 100% of the time, right? Or even if you watch Conquer, who's like one of the best Sub-Zero players, or I'm not sure what his name was. I think it's the Brazilian player.
Conqueror, Conqueror.
Yeah, Conqueror, right? Yeah, like that guy barely uses forward 2 because he knows he's gonna get like really punished for it. So I think what you said is correct regarding all mix-ups being reactable slash fuzzyable. But I'll say Kutal Khan's mid command grab is not reactable. It's just...
True. Mid command grabs are not reactable. That's true. All right, there's one point that I forgot to mention here, which is the practice mode. How good the practice mode is in MK11. I forgot to add this point. But even Guilty Gear Strive has a really good practice mode. But I think MK11 just reached with how how good the frame data is displayed in MK11. You get the startup frames, the active frames, the recovery frames. What do you get? The frames on block, the frames on hits. And I think there's one more thing. What was it? I remember we had like six displays for frame data: startup, active frames, recovery, frame data on block, frame data on hits, and then one more thing. I forgot what it was. But I just love having all those details shown to you, so I know. Oh, cancel advantage. That's right. Thank you, Beavis. Cancel advantage. So just the amount of details that the game gives you, so that you can use it to create setups, figure out setups. It's amazing. It allows you to figure out characters and create a game plan much quicker than you would if you were just jumping into online and just winging it and figure it and just hoping what you do works. Can we stop doing those audio things? The sound request? I actually don't know how to disable that. Wait 1 second. I'm not sure if this disables it or not. Let me do this. Alright, I should stop it. Alright. Hopefully Gambuk will stop screaming. Yeah, no more sound. Shut the hell up. Alright, let me get Sheridan here. He wanted to say something, I think. We got Free Punch and oh wait, no. Oh, Macron and ZackFair?
I think there's this like I don't know.
I'm not sure if they're there to talk to each other or if they want to join the podcast. Let me see. Hello, Macron? Zach?
Oh man.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Alright, go ahead, Zach. Tell us what you have.
Okay, what was the last thing you talked about? Because there were sounds and
the training mode. We were talking about how good the training mode is.
Oh, it's the best in the game. Like, think about that. You go in co-op mode, right? And you're waiting for your turn, and then you can practice. Like, no, somebody beat the shit out of my ass. Then, okay, I can go in practice mode and do that. Also, you can record the situation. You can practice your combos. You have the frames. Like, I don't understand in Tekken, like, how you can do that. Like, in Tekken is interesting, too, because when you're queuing up, you have the option to go to the practice mode while you're queuing up. But the thing about Tekken MK is that you don't have the frames, which the frames are like the science behind it and actually tell you instead of just mashing and guessing. And it's really frustrating, though. So it's a really good system. Plus, you can record the AI to do moves that you want actually, or you can set it to do setups and all of that. So I think it's really, really nice design though. The best from all of the fighting games, honestly.
Regarding training modes, I think this might be a hot take. I do
Cool.
think Tekken 7's training mode is the best, but the problem with that is it's paid. And the reason I'll justify what I'm saying, they have some features which are in none of the other fighting games, right? So for example, they have a feature in their training mode where it'll tell you what is the most optimal move to punish a certain string.
Oh.
Like it'll show you like, okay, if an opponent does this string, you have to do this string in return to get the most damage.
Oh,
Right?
that's cool.
And they have this really cool feature in the replay mode where if you watch back your game and you miss a punish, the game will like pause and show you missed a punish at this moment, or you should have done this punish instead because this punish instead would have done more damage. So these are like really, 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 really cool features which are in none of the other fighting games. But it blows my mind. This is like one of the craziest things ever. Like they're selling the frame data. Like
They're
if
selling
you
their
go to
frame.
the you're going to the Steam store to buy that stuff. It's insane. Like they have such cool features, like with that replay mode, the punish mode, but it's all under behind the paywall, and it's one of those things where it's like crazy to me. But yeah, I think MK11's practice mode is one of the best for sure. And even like when new games like Guilty Gear come out with like no frame data, it's a bit depressing. I feel like this should be like industry standard at this point. Having to go like open another monitor with like 10 tabs on it for each character and like having to sift through the tabs to see what each frame, which character's frames do what. And I think that's pretty annoying. But yeah, I do agree that MK11's training mode is pretty good. It's one of the best.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think MK11 is the only fighting game that has an online practice mode. So you can practice with other people online. I've never seen that in any other fighting game. But it's so helpful when you're trying to teach your friends something or you're trying to show them something. It's really, really helpful having an online training mode. Strive has it? Okay, Strive has it.
But it's like you have to make a private player room and then invite your friend there and then you can do the it's like a bit more steps, I guess. It's not like
I see. Okay. That's cool though. Cool though. I'm glad they have it. All right. Now we can talk about the bad. Now we can start talking about what we don't like. Okay? So first,
right.
I think, we'll do this the same way we talked about the good stuff about the game. We'll start with some general stuff. Like general stuff about the game that everybody can understand, even like casual players can understand and agree with. And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty stuff, okay? So first, I think most noticeably is the lack of communication. I think, I don't even need to speak more on this. I'm pretty sure everybody here understands, but still I want to explain what I mean by that. Other games, when there's a character that's, let's say, too strong or too weak, they mention that, okay, guys, we are aware of this issue. We're looking into it. We're going to be, testing some adjustments, and then we'll launch them in the next patch of the game. And that makes you feel good, right? Like, let's say you are a Devora main, or let's say you're a Shao Kahn main. Knowing that your character is going to get buffed in the future makes you want to keep playing the character. You can believe in the character because it's okay. He might be terrible now, but I know that soon or in the next patch, Shao Kahn is getting a buff. So you can keep playing that character feeling good about yourself. So even if you lose, you can say, okay, that's okay. Next month, my character is going to be better and I'll be playing better, right? But when you get no communication at all, you don't know what's going to happen next patch. You don't know what's coming. You don't know if we're getting more DLC characters, if we're getting a balanced patch, if these problems are getting fixed. You have no clue what's going on. You feel almost discouraged to continue playing the game. Like imagine you have some kind of... Like, take for example me with Cassie Cage, right? My favorite character in MK11 is Cassie Cage. I love her. I love that character. She's my favorite. She's my main. But she has certain issues, right? Whiffing issues. That if I knew they were getting fixed in the future, I would be playing her every single day. I would still be playing her. I would still be maining her. But instead, what happened was I dropped the character because, after waiting for, a long time, I still haven't seen any fixes for the character. So if they just told us that, hey, we are aware of this issue, we're gonna fix it in the future, that would be enough for me to keep playing the character and keep enjoying the game. But just not knowing what's coming in the future, not knowing what they know and what they don't know, or like in terms of the issues of the game, it makes me just feel like nothing's gonna get fixed, right?
Yeah. The weird thing is, I think that they could just copy what other companies are doing. Like for example, Capcom with Street Fighter 5, and even Arc System Works with Guilty Gear. Like literally before Guilty Gear even came out, the game didn't even come out yet. This is a day before launch, I think. Okay, or like the same launch day. Okay, they had a stream, and like, okay, this is the roadmap. We can release a character in August, and a month, like release a character next month, and the month after that, and a few more characters are gonna be released over time, and there's gonna be a patch then, and they're gonna come get a new story mode, and you get some more stages. Or like Capcom, when they got their new season, just released a full roadmap saying, okay, this character is coming out this month, and then there might be a character during this fall season. There might be a character. There's gonna be a few stages. It's like so insane. It's just like it's like so basic. Like, and the best part, they don't have to like you don't have to like create a new way of doing it, right? Like they can just copy. They should just make a roadmap for MK11. Like,
roadmap.
okay, so Combat Pack 3 might come out in the fall season. You don't even have to give out like a specific date. Just say that, right? Or there might be a balance patch in next month. That's it. It's just like so basic, and it's crazy to me that it's been 2 years and this hasn't improved at all. But anyways, it's just weird stuff.
I'm sure a lot of the people that have dropped MK11, and there are a lot of people that dropped MK11 because they think it's dead now. If they would just tell us that, hey guys, we haven't left the game yet, Combat Pack 3 is coming in the future, those people would continue to play the game, right? And hell, even I dropped the game before. I think I dropped the game for a while before the Ultimate patch, because there was like a period of almost 6 months with no patches, no announcements, nothing. So I stopped playing the game because I felt like, okay, the issues with the game are not getting fixed. The game's not gonna be balanced any better. So you know what? I'm just gonna stop playing. I'm tired of this because I hate the set of balance in the game right now. But just if I knew that eventually things will improve, that would be enough for me. I would put up with the issues that we have right now because I can feel comfortable knowing that these issues will be fixed in the future. And by the way, yes, Makaran has joined us. You want to say anything, Makaran?
He just said he left his PC open. Like we didn't even spoke, and you dragged him here, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he joined the watch, so I assumed he had something to say, so I pulled him in here.
Yeah, but he didn't say anything. He was muted this whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, whenever he comes back, he can say whatever he likes. It's okay. Yeah, I think that's everything for lack of communication. I don't know if there's anything that I forgot. Yeah, it just would be nice if they talk to us more. Let us know what.
In other games as well, like for example, I know it's not a fighting game example, but it's still a game that was involved to esports.
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch, for example, or maybe League of Legends, right? League of Legends, Valorant, big games, right?
Yeah.
So they ask the pro players about the balance patches. The developers are asking. And they're saying, okay, this character is too OP, or you could balance this or that. And they could do that for like, I don't know, at least ask Sonic Fox or the top 5 people from the last competition from their final combat or something like that. Like, it would be nice to be a kind of, let's say, communication between the pros who are playing this game at a higher level and actually understanding the game, and those who are making it. I mean, I think it would be interesting, at least that.
Yeah.
If you're not stuck with the community, at least stuck with someone who truly understands the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think it's even more necessary for fighting games because of how difficult it is to really get to the top level in fighting games. I'm sure like none of the developers of the game, none of the people that are in charge of balancing the game, it's very difficult for them to actually know how it's played at a top level, right? I assume that what they do is they look at the tournaments, they look at the tournament results, and they they base balanced decisions off of tournament results, right? Which is why after almost any major tournaments, we see a balance patch right after, right? But especially with the pandemic that happened recently, so there's not many offline tournaments going on. So how the hell do you balance the game? It's simple. You talk to the pros. You speak with the pros. You speak with your community. You take feedback. All right. Now taking feedback, I think, is important, not just from the pros, but even from casual players that tell you, hey, getting stomped by Shiva all day is not fun at all. Can you please do something about this? Right? That is valuable feedback. Okay? You don't necessarily have to, make the move terrible or make it useless, but just give people answers, or maybe speak with the community. Tell them, hey guys, this move that you're dying to, this is how you deal with it. Right? Like the example that you mentioned earlier, Evil Spawn with Tekken 7, how it gives you, it teaches you about certain punishes. It would be nice if he had something like that for for MK11. So I do think they should give us some channel where we can give them feedback about the game, and also communicate with the pros and ask them about the state of balance of the game. What do you think about this character? Do you think we should nerf this character? Should we buff this character? And just take their opinions into consideration, because these are the guys that are putting in 2,000 hours, 3,000 hours, 4,000 hours into your games. They know better than anybody else who is the most busted character in the game and which characters need help. They know better than anybody else. So just listen to them, speak to them. Right. Let's move on to the next point then. The lack of patches. As I mentioned earlier with my example about Cassie Cage, how this character has had whiffing issues. And if you don't know what I mean by whiffing issues, I'm talking about her mids whiffing, right? Her mids. Stop calling me a down player. Her mids whiff. This is a fact. Her mids whiff, and it's the reason I dropped the character, and it makes me very upset. And it's been the case ever since day one of the game, and it still hasn't been fixed. Even though, I mean, I'm not sure how they would go about fixing it. I guess you would just need to make the hitbox a bit larger. So I don't imagine it's very difficult to fix. I think the difficult part is just finding that this issue exists. So if they just gave us some way to tell them about the issues of the game, I think they would get fixed very quickly. Like I can name like maybe 5 issues with the game that can be fixed in a day if they just knew about it. But they just don't. They don't listen. And that means
you gave a better example before, right? Like the AT&T tournament where there were like literally like 100 or like 70k people watching Mortal Kombat, like Shroud and these gigantic streamers were streaming it, and then people were just getting stomped on. Like people were like, the girl was like crying. I remember the video where the girl was like crying because she was getting stomped on, right? And this is joy because like it's not like Shiva was out for a week, right? It's not like this was a new character and this new character has this new move and they didn't know about it. This character has been out for months by the time the third, like it's from Aftermath, right?
Yep.
It's been out for almost half a year since when the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Happened. Almost.
And, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's been out for like over 6 months. This character has been out for over 6 months. So, and the community. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the people. I'm sorry. Was Reddit is like where most of the casuals hang out, I think, right? And these people on Reddit have been complaining about this move forever. Like even if you're actually good at the game and you can avoid it normally, that's fine. But yeah, we have to like acknowledge that people like us who play the game very competitively and we stick with the game for such a long time, I think we're in the minority, right? I think the majority of the majority of the player base is casual.
Yeah.
Right. So when you have a character which has been being complained about for months upon months upon months, and you do nothing about it, and then your game goes on blast on like an AT&T tournament with over 100k viewers, and people are getting stomped on and they can't do anything about it, then you should know at that point, okay, maybe we should change something about the way we operate this game, or like, we should change something about the way we handle patches, right? Because like one patch every like 5 months, and that patch changing nothing about the game is a huge problem. I think this is like insane that they never fixed this since the game came out. They use like a small patch, they buff. Okay, now Raiden's standing 1 is of 7 frames gonna be 6.5 frames. That's it. That's the patch. Now we'll see you next time 6.5 months later. I don't know. Yeah. It's just crazy some stuff. This is like feels like such basic issues, very basic. It's like so close to being like a great game, like a fantastic game. Such small issues which could be fixed, but they just never put the effort into fixing them. I don't know. That's my opinion on MK11 as a whole person.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I think it's obvious that it's. I'm pretty sure it's not going to take that much effort to fix these issues, right? Like the example you mentioned, Shiva has been a problem for over 6.5 months. Everybody's complaining about it. Competitive players, casual players, everybody's complaining about this. We get nothing from NRS. No balance patch. We get no fix, no adjustment to Shiva. And then when we get this massive tournament with a lot of money on the line and like millions of people watching, and it causes a big problem. Okay, now they fix it. Okay, what about the 1,000 other issues of the game? Do we need to wait until there's another AT&T tournament before those get fixed? Yeah, why not just listen? Point. Why not just listen to your community so you can fix these issues before you embarrass yourself in a massive tournament like that? How about you just listen to the community, fix these issues? It's not gonna take that much, all right? And we won't have to worry about this. But yeah, for the people just now joining the stream, I have Evil Spawn with me. He was the one just speaking now. I also have ZackFair and Makran.
Hello.
But Makran is not speaking. He's too shy. But that's okay. He can speak whenever he wants.
Yeah. Also, one more thing that they should have added from the beginning of the game was fucking cross-platform on PC. Like, what's so hard about that, right? Like, add a cross-platform for PS4, for Xbox, and PC. Like, expand the community. If you're not gonna add the patch, then let the community evolve by itself, right?
Yeah.
So that could be, I don't know, something doable. I don't know how hard is it from the designing part or something, but there are other games doing that as well. For example, Overwatch. Now it's cross-platform even for the Switch. I don't say you need to include the Switch, but it is possible. So there is no excuse regarding that. It's just like they don't want to.
Yeah, I mean it is like, as far as I know, it's definitely no easy task to enable crossplay between consoles and PC. It's pretty difficult. But what bothers me is they already have crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation. They actually already have this, but it's not enabled for Combat League, right? Which I don't really.
It's this issue is like one of those things where I would say like I'm 90% sure, right? I'm not gonna say as if I know this for sure, but I'll say I'm confident in what I'm gonna say, but I'm almost sure that the reason they're not gonna add crossplay to PC is because of the amount of cheaters on PC, right? If you're gonna play on PC and then every third game someone's gonna desync your game, they're not gonna want to connect that to the larger console player base, especially since unlike Strive, where the main player base is on PC, MK11's main player base is on the consoles. So if you create crossplay with PC, and then most of the people are just like desyncing and leaving the game and causing your game to like go down to 2 FPS and like moving in slow motion as you lose, or player disconnected due to bad. I forgot what the phrase was, but then you get the loss for just playing the game and stuff like that. I think I think they're scared of that. I think they don't want to connect the two player bases because they know there's a lot of hackers on PC. But then this raises another issue because there are so many people hacking on PC and you know how they do it because so many people actually tell them how people are doing it, right? I was one of those people. I actually did a what's it called, a ticket, and I was like, okay, there are people like desyncing on PC, and this is how they do it. Please like find an issue about it. Okay, they know how people are doing it. Number one, they know they exist, but they do nothing about it. It's like a multifaceted issue. So they know cheaters exist, and they won't do crossplay because of it, but they won't do anything about the cheaters either. It's like connections. That's what I think personally. But obviously, I have no proof that they're not doing it because of the cheaters. But that's what I think. Because I don't see why not, since they already have custom between Xbox and PS4, right, or Xbox and PS5.
Yeah, I mean, I want to speak more about the cheaters, but I have that in another point in the future, so we'll get to that later.
Sure.
Another problem that I have with the game is that new content is too slow. Okay, I think it's weird that I see with this game that how they like the way they release DLC characters like bunched up together is really strange to me. Like almost every other game will have seasons, and every season there's like one or maybe two characters maximum, and then the next season you get another character. Next season you get one character. Next season you get one character. So in any point in time in the game's life cycle, there's something new just came out. There's something to be excited about, and there's something to look forward to because in the next season you're getting that. But for some reason they give us a massive amount of content all at once, right? So we have to wait like 6 months, 7 months with nothing, and then suddenly we get the ultimate patch. Customs are now competitive. We get a huge balance patch. We get 3 characters, or maybe we get even extra like story mode with Aftermath. This is great, but why put it all together? Just give us each part whenever it's ready, okay? When you like overwhelm us, give us all this content all at once, it's hard to even enjoy it all, right? It's hard to take it all in. It's hard to like if you were getting one character every 3 months or every 2 months. Let's say every 3 months. It would give people time to lab that character, figure out all the custom moves they got. Okay, I get what this character is, and you know what? I don't like him, but that's okay because next 3 months there's another character coming out. I'll try him out. People lab him, people learn him, figure out how to play him, how to play against him, and then next another character comes out. Piece by piece, release it piece by piece, right? And same goes for balance patches. I don't understand why they save the major balance patches for when they release characters. I don't know why we get new characters and a major balance patch at the same time, right? Because I think for you to balance those, newly released characters, you need to first release the balance patch and see how the meta develops, how the meta, reacts to these balance changes, and then based on that, you would tweak and balance the new characters and then release them. But when you release them all together, you can't take the inputs from the new characters to change the balance patch, or take the inputs from the balance patch to tweak the new characters. I don't understand why they choose to release everything bunched up together. I feel like they should just do it.
Because they sell the game again. No?
They sell the game again?
Yeah, because no, I'm serious. Like when MK Ultimate comes out, right? They sell the game at full price, $60 again, with the 3 new characters added in. And then when MK Aftermath came out, they released 3 new characters and they sold the game at full price again. So they can't if they do it like
it's not full price, by the way. It's not full price. I'm pretty sure Aftermath was like $40, I think. But it's a lot of money. I get you.
Like if you're buying it as a new player.
Oh, as a new player, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, MK plus MK After is 60. It's like they're actually selling the game again, technically. MK Ultimate selling the game again. I think they know, because like they can't, for example, say, okay, we're releasing MK Ultimate with 1 new character and the two other characters are coming 6 months down the line. They can't do that, right? But they know, like, okay, we'll put all 3 characters, even though like half of them are not done. They still have like quiffing issues. The characters like have weird frames. We didn't like test it out very well. We'll put all 3 characters in the box so we can actually sell the game again and get a lot of money. I think that's the thought. I think that's why MK11 is like the only game which actually I haven't seen it happen with any other fighting game where they just like release 3 characters at once. Like and alongside that, okay, here's a new game. Okay, MK Aftermath, new story mode, and 3 characters. Close the box and sell it at $60 again. Because I think that's where NRS games make the most money, right? Because NRS games always sell the most. Like even if you showed in the previous slide before, where MK11 got like 8 or 9 million sold copies. MKX was one of the best selling copies when it came out. Like it's actually MKX was, I think, the highest selling fighting game there. Even I'm not sure about the actual statistic, but it was like one of the highest selling fighting games. Because they know that's when most people are going to buy the game. So I think that's the reason what you're talking about. Like, why are these 3 characters at once? Because they want to sell the game again. They want to make a new packaging, new Aftermath, a new Ultimate, and then they sell the game and they get a lot of money out of it.
I think. Go ahead.
Like something like what's it called? Street Fighter Ultimate Edition, was it?
There was Arcade Edition, and then there was Champion Edition.
Yeah, but those games, what's weird about those games is that those games do come with the promise of more DLC, right? Like I think Ultimate Edition came out and they're like, okay, and there's still 2 more characters. There's still Jill and there's still Seth.
Yeah, they have roadmaps. They have roadmaps, Street Fighter 5. They actually do roadmaps.
They actually tell you, yeah.
Yep. They actually tell you what's coming. And, MK11 definitely doesn't follow this business model. Like here, if you compare it to, Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7 or in For Honor, these games follow the business model of game as a service, right? They don't sell many copies in the beginning, but over time, they release a lot of new content, a lot of DLCs, and over time they keep accumulating more and more and more and more players, right? That's like that's in my opinion the perfect business model for any competitive video game. Any video game that wants to have a good esports scene needs to follow this business model, because people are not going to be buying your new games every year or every 2 years so they can learn it and then go play it in tournaments, just to start over, learn it again when the new sequel comes out, right? It's best to just have a solid foundation of mechanics. When you see issues with them, like with Street Fighter 5, when it released, it had terrible reviews. It wasn't the best fighting game. But they kept fixing it. They kept fixing it. They kept fixing it. They kept balancing it. They kept balancing it. They kept adding to it. They kept adding to it. And look at it now. It's amazing. One of the best fighting games out there right now. Even 100%. Though it started at a very low point, but look at it now. One of the best fighting games ever. And if I'm not mistaken, it just got added into the Olympics. Like it's actually an Olympic competition now.
Official Olympics. 5. Yeah, I remember. I saw like some weird, weird article about Street Fighter 5 being in the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah. I'm serious.
Oh my god, man.
Like this is how you do a competitive video game. Okay, it takes time for the meta to develop. It takes time, to correctly tweak the game mechanics. It takes time. You just need to believe in it. You need to keep adding patches to it until you finally reach, a perfect game that people can compete in forever, right? Look at games like Counter-Strike, for example, right? It's been the same. At least the major mechanics of the game have been the same for a decade, if not more than a decade, I think. But still, it's a very highly competitive game because those mechanics are so solid. They're so well tweaked. They're so solid that the game can still have a great competitive community. But if you are gonna give us like 5 major patches maximum, 5 major balance patches maximum every 6 months, you don't even listen to feedback, you're never gonna reach that level of competitiveness. You're never gonna see, as many Mortal Kombat 11 tournaments as there are Street Fighter 5 tournaments. It's not even close. The competitive community of Street Fighter 5 is so much larger than MK11. Even though MK11 has sold more, like we mentioned earlier, the majority of those players are casual players. If you're looking at only competitive players, you will see that Street Fighter 5 has way more competitive players. MK11 has these numbers because it's very casual friendly, right? I mean, it's a deep game. Don't get me wrong; it's a very deep game. But I'm saying it has a lot of game modes that are very welcoming to new players. That's how they gain these numbers. But then the competitive scene, they don't take care of it nearly as much as something like Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, because there's not enough time, right? There's not enough time to convert these casuals into pro players. Because let's say you got into MKX, right? You just bought MKX, you want to get good at the game. You can do it after 1 year, and then Injustice 2 comes out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll get good at Injustice 2, and then 1 year passes, and then MK11 comes out, right? Well,
Yep.
if you're talking about something like Street Fighter 5, you buy the game at launch, and you're still playing and playing. Tournaments still keep getting added, and new characters get added, new stages get added, and you're playing this game for 4 or 5 years, right? You're playing this game for 5 or 6 years, and at that point, you're like, okay, I'm an actual professional at this game. I want to invest my time, and I want to actually make this like more than like a hobby or something. I actually want to get good at the game. I want to become a professional. I want to compete in tournaments. But I think with the problem with NRS games that they don't have that that thing. Even Tekken 7, I think Tekken 7 is even older than Street Fighter 5, right? It came out on arcades 2 years before it even came out on physical release.
You're right.
Yeah. So for those games, like, they actually have many years to get really into the game. They get to really analyze all the characters. New characters get added, new stages, new tournaments get larger and larger, and all the good stuff. But I think games with NRS games, just because of their very short time span, and because like you said, they're not really a service. I don't think so. They just like keep it for a year as a buffer for their next game. And if the next game comes out, they keep that game as a buffer for the next game. And there's just not enough time to make these casuals into professional players, right? But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, you're right. Also, like for a player that's trying to go pro, you want to be a professional. You want to play this game for a living. You want to make your living playing this game competitively, right? When you know they're gonna release a new game every 2 years or every 3 years, and then with that next game, you have no clue how good you're gonna be. It doesn't seem like a feasible decision to go pro in this game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is gonna change in a few years, and then you have no clue where you're gonna be. Okay, maybe you're the greatest MK11 player right now, but guess what? By next year, NRS are probably gonna announce the next game and release it shortly after, and then where are you gonna be?
You have to start from zero, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to start over. So nobody likes starting over. Why make us start over? Just keep fixing MK11. Keep patching it. Please listen to the community. Fix the problems that people complain about, and everybody's gonna be, happy competing in MK11 for, the next at least 3 years. I definitely would be. If they would fix the issues in this game, I would happily compete in this game for the next 5 years. I'd fucking play it every day. No problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not even necessarily add new content, but just fix the issues with it, just to make it.
Just fix the game. Fix the game before you add new characters.
Yeah, just make it more competitively viable.
Yeah.
Right, let's get back to
our good slides.
Our slides, yes. Okay. The last one in this slide is that some characters are too frustrating and boring to fight. I mean, people like us, especially competitive players, we complain about Setchion because of how busted she is. But it's crazy to see that even my friends that I told about the game and just bought it on sale, they're complaining about Setchion too, even though they have no clue what the meta is. They don't know who's top one, who's bottom one. They're complaining about Setchion. And why is that? Is it because they know she's busted? No. It's because she's a very frustrating character to play against. Okay? Not even because she's busted. I mean, hell, I see people complain about even Scarlet. New players will complain about Scarlet. They'll complain about Jade. And that's not because these characters are too strong. They're not. Scarlet is not too strong. Jade is not too strong. But just the way you play, the way they force you to play is so annoying, so boring, so frustrating. You don't even want to play the game anymore. I know every time I get matched with a Jade player in Combat League, no offense, Evil Spawn, I know
it's all good.
I know I am not going to enjoy that set, regardless of how it goes. I can win 2-0. I can completely destroy them. But the way I will be forced to play, I will not enjoy it. The game will not be fun for me just because of this person that I'm playing against. Not because of the person, sorry, because of the character. Because of the character. The character plays a certain way and forces you to play a certain way that is not enjoyable. And I'm sure the majority of players will agree it is not fun playing against Jade. It is not fun. It is not fun playing against Shiva. It is not fun playing against Sub-Zero. It is not fun playing against Sechion. And this applies to not just competitive players. I'm 100% sure even casual players have these issues because I hear these problems from my friends. I have a lot of friends who play MK11 casually, and they complain all day about Jade, about Sechion, even though they have no clue what the meta is. They don't know what's a top tier character. They don't even understand every mechanic in the game. But they.
But I think this is not an issue that you can even fix, right? Like this isn't something that NRS can really fix. I think at this point it's like too built to the core of the game, and admittedly, I don't think this is also a MK11 issue. Like most of the characters mentioned, like Jade, Cetrion, Scarlet, are like kind of zoner characters, and you have zoner characters that are super annoying in Street Fighter 5, right? Like the guy who stretches his arms very long. I've seen some tournament matches of people not being able to get close to him, right? Or I've seen the bald guy with like the when he has his like arms up and he just keeps shooting fireballs upon fireballs and stuff like that. I think this is kind of it's a fighting games thing more so than it is a Mortal Kombat thing. I don't think this is an issue that really Mortal Kombat like created or Mortal Kombat is
For sure.
inherent like uniquely guilty about. I guess that's how I'd say it.
I get
Even Guilty Gear Strive has someone like Axel, right, who just like keeps hitting you with these like full screen normals and stuff like that.
No, you're right. This is something that's
necessary evil. Sorry.
It's something that's common in a lot of fighting games, but I don't think that means that we shouldn't fix it. You know, this is something that's this is one of the reasons why I kept For Honor in this comparison, and that's because For Honor they treat this very differently. For Honor is created by Ubisoft, and Ubisoft they may not be the greatest video game company, but they do something that is very well, and they listen to feedback. Okay, when they see a character gets complained about very much, even though they know the character is not too strong, what they do is they adjust the character. Right? They don't nerf the character, they adjust the character. So for example, for our previous example, we were talking about Jade, right? And it's something that I remember even you told me in the past, how much you would love if Jade had some kind of combo extender, right?
For sure, 100%.
So an adjustment that they could make to make the character less frustrating is you could make her zoning just a little bit weaker. Like maybe make her her air glaive a little weaker, make her down 4 a little weaker, but then give her strengths in other places. Give her a combo extenders. Give her an actual combo extenders. I'm sure a lot of even Jade players will enjoy that change, right? Wouldn't you love to have that, Evil Spawn?
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a good. I never thought about it actually, but you're right. I remember in For Honor where literally they will rework entire characters if they're not working well within the game. Characters like Orochi and stuff like that got a full rework on how they attack, how they play. Yeah, I think even one of the characters they changed was Warden, who's like the base like face of the game really. And they changed him I think because he was too boring or too stale and nothing was happening with him. And they were like, okay, we're gonna change him to make this character more exciting. I actually never thought about that, but now that you mentioned, that's a pretty interesting way to think about it.
They would change characters even though like they're not necessarily too strong, they're not too weak, but they will just look at the feedback. They would say, okay, people are complaining a lot about this character, or wait, nobody is playing this character. Like the pick rate for this character is really low, even though this character is definitely not too weak. This character is very strong, but the pick rate is really low. So clearly there's a problem here. So they work on it. They fix it. They rework the character, and hey, the character is a lot more fun to play now. It's a better character, and everybody's happy. It literally makes everybody feel better about playing the game. Right, like if they make the adjustments that I mentioned about Jade, giving her a combo extender and making her zoning a little bit weaker, I'm pretty sure everybody would be happy. Well, definitely not everybody, but I think the majority of the player base will be happy with a rework like that. Why not, ZackFair? Why would you not be happy?
Because they will make Jade OP.
No, not necessarily OP. They'll make her zoning weaker, but they'll make her rush down better. You know what I'm saying? They'll kind of...
Okay, I see. So like a full rework, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I understand.
That way you keep the Jade mains happy, and you keep the players that play against Jade, they get to be happy too. I think that's necessary for not a lot of characters in the game, but I think Geras definitely needs a rework like that. I would say Jade needs a rework like that, and I would say Sechion also needs a rework like that. Maybe there's not many other characters that need like a full rework, but especially somebody like Sub-Zero, Geras with the sand traps. I hate how much he has to rely on sand traps because they clearly balance the character completely around this one move that is very frustrating to play against. What are you saying, Abyss? Abyss is saying not always though. Like take Collector for example, no one plays him and no one really knows why. He has sick long combos. Yeah, okay, I'm sure they can find answers. I'm sure they can find answers. Maybe it's because his movement is too slow. Maybe he's too unsafe. I'm sure if they, ask the community for feedback, they will find ways to rework him and make him more appealing.
But really, if we're talking, I think this point, number 5, some characters do force setting to fight. I think this is the point where, unlike all the other points above, like every single point above, these all could be easily fixed. I think this one's like too hard to fix. I think right now it's like it's an issue like at the core of the game. I think this is like it's not something that NRS would be able to fix. But I think compared to all the other 4 points above it, like content is being slow, patches are late, right? Communication is very bad. This stuff could be fixed. I think that 5th point is a bit too tough to fix personally. I think that's too hard right now. Unless they completely change their business and they become like Ubisoft, where they actually rework characters from the ground up and stuff like that. But I don't think they'll be doing it.
Yeah, I don't think that's asking for too much, to be honest. To listen to community feedback and rework characters that aren't doing too well. Not necessarily that they're not strong enough, but just if their pick rates are too low or if there's if they cause too much frustration. I don't think it's asking for too much to rework those characters.
For sure, I think compare like the investment cost. Like if if let's say Radiant's move is very very powerful, I'll just lower the frames on that and damn, done. Shao Kahn is too weak, I'll give him 50 HP. Bam. Top tier character now, right? Compare that investment to okay, let's rework Shao Kahn to be a more fun character. They're not good. This tap on the 50 HP and call it a day, bro. That's it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like this definitely will take a full team. It will take a long time for them to really figure out why this character is not doing well and what they need to change exactly and how much they need to change it. Yeah, you're right. It takes a lot of effort, but as we've seen with the example with Ubisoft with For Honor, it's doable. It's doable. I'm pretty sure NRS can do it if they actually care enough.
If they actually put the resources into it, I'm sure they can. Yeah,
I think it's worth it to put resources into it. Like I know so many people that literally will drop the entire game because of one character. I mean, I know multiple people that dropped the game because of Shiva, because of how frustrating she was. I know multiple people that dropped the game because of Sub-Zero. They will literally drop the entire game, which has like 37 characters or however many, just because one character is so frustrating to play against. They don't want to ever see this character. They will completely just stop playing the game because this one character is so frustrating. And I can definitely relate to that to an extent. So I do think that they should a lot more resources into this. I think it's worth it.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, cheaters. This is the point that you mentioned earlier. It was fun. Cheaters.
Yo, Witcher, if you're watching this, man, you suck.
I mean, in almost every competitive game, you will see that they put a lot of resources into detecting and banning cheaters, right? This applies to any esports game out there. CSGO with VAC, with the VAC or VAC bans. What, Rainbow Six Siege with, what do they call it? What's their anti-cheat system? I forgot what they called it. But they will create an entire system just to stop cheaters, right? They will have a reporting system, and they'll have a system that automatically detects cheaters. But for some reason, fighting games don't really have that, and that's mainly because cheaters don't really. They almost don't like. There's no aim hacks for fighting games, right? No such things exist. That's what it's called, Battle Eye for Ubisoft with the Rainbow Six Siege. It's called Battle Eye. Thank you, Epis. But yeah, for some reason, fighting games don't really invest that much time into detecting cheaters, and that's mainly because cheats are not very common to see in fighting games. But in games like MK11 that have a system like Combat League or a game mode like Combat League, where you play online for points, right? And if you leave the game or get disconnected, you lose those points and your opponent gets chosen as the winner, right? That system is very easy to cheat, to exploit, and to abuse. Okay, sure, nobody's going to be cheating in game, reading your inputs, and creating an AI that plays the game perfectly, right? It's not those kinds of cheats. It's mostly like network related cheats, right? There's a lot of DDoSers on consoles that barely get dealt with. And to be fair, DDoSing is it's a very large issue that really is going to be hard to solve by the game developers, because it's something that affects or threatens anything that is online, basically. But these, if you don't know what we're looking at here, this is a list of cheaters that I created with the help of the PC community of MK11. I have it on my Discord. And as you can see, we have the name of the cheater, the type of cheats that they use, and also proof, even proof. Sometimes video proof, sometimes a screenshot proof that they are cheating. Okay? Almost every other online game will have some kind of report system, either report for griefing or report for cheating, right? But MK11 has nothing like that. There's no way to report your opponent. So sometimes you will face the same cheater multiple times in the same day, and they'll just completely ruin your experience, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. And that's it makes you feel very defeated, because what the hell can you do? And there's all kinds of cheats that people can use, okay? We got people that desync. Okay, that is the most common. Desyncing is when you're about to lose a combo league set, and then you flip a switch that, I'm not going to explain exactly how it's done, but what ends up happening is the game gets canceled. The game session gets desynchronized, and the game kicks out both players, and nobody gains or loses points. So whenever you're about to win, you're about to reach, the next rank. You're about to reach Elder God or wherever. You've been trying for weeks trying to reach this rank, and then finally this is your rank up game, and then you find the desyncer. You're about to win. He desyncs the game. All right, fine. I'll just find another game, and hopefully I'll win that one. You find another game, and it's another desyncer. And
exactly.
It just makes it so difficult to move up and to enjoy, the ranked game mode. And ranked game modes are obviously really, really important for online games. You will see, any online game out there, the ranked mode will always be where the majority of the player base is, right? That's what most people play. They play competitive because it gives you something to strive towards, right? I want to reach this next rank. I want to get better at the game. I want to, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But then these cheaters, completely destroy the system. Because now you have players that will be, the top 5 ranked players, but they do not deserve it. They're only there because they're cheating. And everybody knows they're cheating. Literally everybody in the community knows that Agriel is a cheater. Ask any PC player that has ever played online, Combat League. They'll tell you Agriel is a cheater. Everybody knows. But he gets to keep doing what he's doing. He gets to keep doing what he's doing every day, ruining people's days, ruining people's experiences. Some days when I come online, I find Agriel in Combat League. That's it for me. That's it. I just ult F4. I'm out of the game because I know this guy plays for like 5 hours a day. And I know I'm not just going to find him once. I'm going to find him again and again and again and again. And I'm going to have to play against his annoying ass Jade. And even when I'm about to win, he's going to desync the fucking game and it won't even count. It's not going to give me any points. It's extremely frustrating. And there's types of cheaters that are even worse than that. There's certain cheats that will freeze up your game and kick you out completely. So you don't even get to play. See, desyncers, they can stop you from gaining points, but they can't make you lose points, right? So your rank will stay as it is. It's not going to go down, but it's not going to go up either. But there's certain guys that have certain cheats that will freeze your game and kick you out and make you lose points. When you get matched up with these people, you will instantly lose points, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? If you close the game, if you Alt F4, you're going to lose points anyway. And the funny thing is, the way you have to deal with these people, the only real option you have is to desync, right? You have to cheat against the cheaters. That is pretty much the only good option we have right now. Because I've sent this list to Warner Brothers, I've sent it to NRS, I've sent it to their Twitter, I've sent a support ticket, I've sent it everywhere. And they clearly have no plans to ban these people or do anything about them. So right now, your only option if you meet any of these guys is you have to cheat too. You have to cheat too. Imagine, if you want to play online MK11, you're going to have to cheat. You have to. Otherwise, you will literally lose points without even getting to play. you will straight up get matched up with the guy, and boom, it kicks you out of the game, and you lose points. How can you enjoy the ranked system or the ranked game mode or combat league when people like this exist? And there's literally so many of these guys, I couldn't even fit them on this list. There's more than 37. Yeah. This is not the full list, by the way. There's like so many. People, yeah, there's literally so many. I couldn't even fit them all in here. And these are only the ones that I know about. These are only the ones that I know about. I'm sure there's many more in other communities. Like most of these guys are, they play in the Middle East and Europe. I'm sure there's a bunch more in Russia. I'm sure there's a bunch more in the United States that I don't even know about. And it's so sad to see because, like I said, we literally have proof. And almost everybody in the community knows about these guys, or at least, the most popular guys like Agriel. Almost everybody in the community knows this guy's a cheater. We know. Everybody knows. But still, nothing gets done about him. Nothing gets done about him.
And let's, okay, this is one of those topics where I'm a bit more passionate about, because this is actually...
Go ahead, go off, people spawn. Don't worry about it. Go off.
This is, okay?
First
of all, you're right. This list is not complete. There's like a bunch more names under, which couldn't fit on here. Second of all, let's analyze this crazy situation, okay? So these desyncers are very openly cheating, right? Like they're not even trying to hide it. Like there are Reddit videos of them openly desyncing, and people on Twitter keep tweeting the community manager, and they keep tweeting Warner Brothers support to show them. And this is the worst part, okay? This is like a personal scenario which happened with me, where I recorded the video of this guy desyncing. I recorded the video and they posted it on Twitter, and they tagged both Warner Bros. Support and they tagged the community manager Tyler Lunson or whatever his name was, right? Mm-hmm. And they replied to the tweet. They're like, okay, we're gonna look into it, and they did nothing about it. Then of course I'm like, okay, that's crazy. Like literally nothing happened.
By the way, how long ago was this? This was more than a year ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I can find the tweet if I scroll down long enough.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember the tweet. I retweeted it. I'm pretty sure it was more than a year ago.
Bro.
It was more than a year ago. So they're aware of this issue. They're aware. They literally saw it.
They know.
They know.
And it's not like that. Like even with fucking like putting in like support tickets. Like you make a support ticket, you talk with the guy. Like, okay, hey, that's cool. This is the video. Not one video. These are 3 videos of the same guy desyncing. 3 different videos of 3 different games of this guy desyncing. Okay, three videos, and this is how he does it. Okay, I am telling you as a player. I am telling you. This is how this guy desyncs. Okay, this is the method in which this guy uses to desync the game. Okay, so people are cheating. You know how they are cheating. You know it's been an issue since the launch of the game. Okay, and you know that it's a common enough issue that people run into these cheaters multiple times in like one session. Like if you watch streamers, like back when I used to stream MK11, right? I would sit down and I would be playing, and I would run into like 3 desyncers in one stream. Like one stream, I'll just run into 3 desyncers, right? Yep. So all these factors are in, right? They know they're desyncers. Very open issue. People post about it on Reddit, on Twitter. They tag them. They reply to the tweets. Everything. It's like they know they exist. They know how it happens. All right. So they know the method at which people are cheating in. All right. And they fake respond to tweets saying that they will work on it, but then nothing happens. And everyone's just gonna keep running through this. And because for fighting games in general, even though Mortal Kombat sold a lot of copies, in general, fighting games don't have very big populations, right? They have like 2K, 3K players per month, especially on Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah. So because there's a small player base, and that small player base has a big section of cheaters, which you are not addressing or doing anything about, people are going to run into these cheaters very often, and it's going to actually just ruin the experience. It is genuinely like one of the... I haven't played MK11 in a while, I played like in a month or so, but genuinely, it's one of the things I remember very, very vividly. I just remember hating it. I remember like this disgusting feeling every time I would go to Combat League. I'm like, oh my god, I have to go to these desyncers just to get these new skins. I want to die. It's like it was insane. But I can't believe this is still an issue. This is like one of those things where you think it's like first year of the game, the weird desyncers are happening. Okay, I'm sure it's gonna be fixed eventually, but it's like 2 years and nothing changed. I don't know. I'll stop now. It's just one of those things where it just blows my mind. It's still an issue.
It's really insane because I'm pretty sure it can't be that hard for them to ban these guys, right? And this can be an even bigger issue, especially if you're a streamer and a certain cheater wants to stream snipe you. It is not difficult at all for them to stream snipe you.
That's done. It's
every single game. They will literally ruin your entire stream, and there's nothing you can do to avoid them. They will stream snipe you every time you start searching for a game, and they will just either desync, or they can make you lose the game due to low performance, make you lose points, and they can just ruin your entire stream. So you can't play the game, you can't stream, you can't do anything. They just completely ruin your experience. Sure, Scoseca, if you want to join, go ahead.
Yeah, and you know the worst part? It's that the only way to deal with these cheaters is like you said, it's like you have to cheat yourself. Like you actually have to go out of your way to do something, even if it's like a bit against your own morals to kind of
Yeah,
cheat the
yeah.
game, right? Right. So you have to go out of your way just so you can enjoy the game, just so you don't have to go through these like fights. I don't want to fight this guy like for like 3 rounds, get like teabagged or something, or I teabag him and this game desyncs, right? It's just insane. Like it's this is one of the I think the other issues are like, fixable, they're making it a bit angry maybe, but this is like one of those issues where it just like makes you sad, It's a bit more depressing. But yeah.
All right, Scoseca, if you want to join, just join voice chat in my Discord, and I'll pull you in. I'll pull you in our voice channel, because the voice channel we're in is hidden right now. Yeah, we have a known cheater list. Yeah, and it's massive. This is not the full list, by the way. This is not the full list. The list is so big, I couldn't even fit it on the screen. There's so many. And like I said earlier, we sent it to Warner Brothers support. We sent it to NRS. We sent it to the community manager.
I even replied, bro. Fucking useless.
It's still nothing. Still nothing. I mean, normally in other games, when a cheaters will get reported, right, by a bunch of players, they'll notice, okay, this guy is definitely cheating. Okay, we can ban him, but they also have to look into it because they have to figure out how is he cheating. How do we stop this problem in the future? And then they will tweak their anti-cheat system to detect these cheaters in the future. That's how far they'll go to stop cheaters in other games. But in our game, you can't even report these guys. There's no way for you to even report these guys. We have their names, we have their Steam IDs, we have proof that they're cheating. We know how they're cheating. We literally know how we know exactly how they're cheating. We know what software they use, we know how they use it, we know exactly how they're cheating. And we give that to the developers, we give that to the support team, we give that to the community manager, and still nothing gets done about it. Like, I don't know what more we can do to get them to help us with this issue, because unfortunately, in this situation, we are completely powerless. There's nothing we can do. There's no way to blacklist these guys. No matter what you do, if you're playing Combo League, you will oftentimes meet at least one of these guys. You will oftentimes get these guys, and they'll ruin your experience, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's very, very frustrating. All right, Scoseca, I'll just pull you in whenever I see you join, okay? All right. So now we talked about the general issues of MK11 that will affect both casual and competitive players. Now let's dive in a little deeper and talk about, what are the issues with the mechanics of the game, especially when you look at it from a competitive standpoint, right? And I think the most major issue in the game currently is how strong jumping is. You will notice that almost any character that has some way to cancel any button or string into a jump, characters like Jackie, Fujin, or hell, even Cabal, any character that gets, special moves that gives them extra options in the air, you will notice that these characters will instantly jump to the top tier. And this is no accident, right? This is because we have almost no answers to jump-ins in this game. We don't have any good anti-airs unless you're like one of maybe 3 characters. If you're like, I guess Frost with his down 3, maybe Terminator with his down 3, and maybe like Collector with his down 2. These will give you good anti-airs to regular jump-ins. But these are not going to help you against Jackie. These are not going to help you against, Cabal's jump-ins. You're still going to have to struggle. You will still struggle, okay? And I'm not just talking jump-ins. There's also something else I want to show you. Let me just go into the game real quick. I want to show you guys something that I noticed that a lot of people don't know about, okay? Let me just show you something real quick. Jumping is not only an issue in neutral. You can be -7 and hold up, and it will be... You will see how insane the position that puts you in, okay? You will see how insane that position is. And I did this recently. If you guys watched Ripper's King of the Hill that I participated in, I was playing against Kid Markey. I was playing Gears. He was playing Aaron Black. And I'm going to show you what I did, okay? What I did is, I used this -7 move on Black, right? This move is -7. -7. I'm very minus here, so I'm not allowed to mash or anything, right? He can definitely take his turn. He has an 11 frame mid. I can't mash. But you know what I can do? I can hold up. Okay, let me show you what that does, holding up. So look, let me just record him doing, his fastest mid. Back 2-2-2. Right, he's doing his fastest mid. Okay, let me have him do that universal. Sorry, 1 second. Back 2-2-2. Why's he doing that? There we go, okay. So he's doing reversal back 2-2-2, right? So when I'm -7, I can't smash on this. I can't press. I can't do anything about this. He can check me after -7. As he should. I'm fucking -7. It's his turn. I should respect it. Except here's what I can do. I can kill him for pressing buttons by holding up. I can hold up and break away when I get hit, wake up and murder him. I'm -7. I am -7. He's using an 11 frame mid and I'm killing him for it. I'm killing him for it by holding up. So this is two issues of the game coming together. The issue of breakaway and the issue of jumping. It's insane how many characters struggle against this. And this will happen even to Geras. This is an issue that even Geras will struggle against. Like, let me see if Aaron Black has anything that's like a -5. I'm actually not entirely sure. Let's see. Standing 2 is -4. Okay. Check this out. So standing 2 is -4, right? So normally after this I can enforce a strike throw mix-up. I'm gonna block this, and then I will try to enforce a strike throw mix-up. He's -4. It's my turn. Or wait, why is he -2? Let me do it up close. -4, right? After this, I have a strike throw mix-up, right? Between mid and between throw. Except I actually don't. Because my string is gonna whiff. And he's gonna wake up and punish me. My string is gonna whiff. And my throw is gonna whiff. Even if I do mid command throw, that's gonna whiff. So he just completely disregards my strike throw mix-up that I have right now after blocking this. Because my string whiffs and my throw whiffs. He beats all of my options by just holding up. So what are my options against this? What if I know he's gonna jump? I know he's gonna jump. I can do 1-1 instead. Right? I can do 1-1 instead. But here's the problem. He has options against that too. Let me show you. If I record Geras doing reversal 1-1 or 1-1 into this, right? This is his combo. Right? I'll record him doing that as a reversal. Okay? Guess what? I can kill him still. I can still kill him. He can know that I'm gonna jump. He can literally know. Like, I'm -4. And I'm gonna hold up. And he knows I'm gonna do that. So he's gonna hit me with 1-1 because he knows that string is not gonna whiff when I jump. And still, I have options to kill him for doing that. Still, I can kill him for doing that. Isn't that fucking insane? Isn't that insane? I'm already gonna kill him if he tries to grab me because the throw is gonna whiff. His mid is gonna whiff too. And even if it doesn't whiff, because I hold up instantly and I can break away instantly after getting hit, I can still kill him for trying to do this. So what are your options against this? What are you gonna do? You know what you have to do? What you have to do is you have to settle for doing 1-1. You see him jump, you hit him with 1-1, and that's it. That's all you can do. You have to stop afterwards. You have to stop because if he breaks away, he can kill you. So you have to stop. So you take your 4% damage and you have to settle for it. He's -4. You know he's gonna jump, and the best thing you can do is get 4% damage and then stop. That's the best thing you can do. Get 4% damage on, like, your strike throw mix-up is destroyed. And also, after you reach, this level of mind game, he can start doing shit like this. Right? Because he knows you're too afraid to throw out your mid because it's gonna whiff. You're too afraid to throw because it's gonna whiff, so he can just do this. Or he can just keep mashing on you. Right? So your strike throw mix-up is completely destroyed simply by the up button. It's really a huge problem with this game. And this is somebody, like Aaron Black, who doesn't necessarily have, insane jump-ins. He doesn't have jump specials, nothing like that. I just want to show that, jumping is not just a problem from Jackie. It's not just a problem from, Cabal or whoever has crazy jumping attacks. It's a problem with everybody in the game. This is a fundamental problem with the game that needs to be addressed. And when you couple it with how stupid breakaway is, when you couple how strong jumping is and how strong breakaway is, when you put those two things together, your defense becomes fucking ridiculous. You will kill everybody for doing anything. How dare you press a button? How dare you try to check me with a string? How dare you hit confirm? You're not allowed to hit confirm anymore because he will break away and kill you for doing that. It's insane. And I really feel like this is like the first and most important problem that they need to address in terms of the mechanics of this game. Is there anything you guys want to say about jumping?
I think this also connects back to the neutral point you made very early on in the podcast, where neutral is both the best thing and the worst thing about this game. Where you're like, oh yeah, I'll play footsies, I'll play neutral, but then there's stuff like this where okay, I'm gonna try to take back my turn. I'll try to enforce my plus frames, enforce my stuff like that, and the guy just like holds up and then he breaks away and he punishes you. I didn't know it was that bad for Gears. Admittedly, it's actually that's surprising. What you
Yeah,
just showed
a
on
lot of people
screen.
don't know about this, but like
Yeah, but
a
this is
lot
like
of
yeah, as I said. Oh yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, a lot more characters struggle with this than you might think. A lot of people they don't know much about this. But if people start abusing it more, it will get crazy. It will get absolutely insane. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, I'm done. Yeah, I think you made a stronger case than I ever could. This the demonstration was really nice.
I'm out of breath talking about jumping. That's
Yo,
one of the most.
compared to MK9,
Yeah.
compared to MK9, they actually did a decent job regarding the anti-airs. I don't know if you guys remember, but in MK9, even though it was the animation you couldn't anti-air, it was impossible to anti-air in MK9. So I know that they're trying. I don't remember how was the anti-airing in MKX, but I see like they're trying to improve better and better the anti-airing. But the thing is like, I know they're trying to add a variety, which is kind of interesting. Like each character has its different jump. Like for example, if you go with Shang Tsung, Geras, and then you go with Liu Kang, you know, I'm saying Liu Kang because he has that weird kick that sometimes punishes some characters and others are not getting punished by that. So I see that a bit of variety, but also it's kind of needs a bit of balance because having the variety also generates the problem because the hitboxes are different and when it shouldn't be or if they intend to be a different hitbox they need to work on that so in order to be balanced perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I think a simple solution, at least to jump ins in neutral, because I mean, I'm sure most of you guys know that if somebody jumps at you in neutral, you can't always react to that and anti-air it. Okay, especially with somebody with a strong jump in like Sindel. No matter how good your anti-airs are, no matter how good your reactions are, it's gonna hit you, right? If you don't try to block it, if you try to anti-air it, it's gonna hit you. So the obvious solution to that is make down twos, for example. Air immune, right? Make down twos air immune, so we have consistent anti-airs. That would be nice. Another thing that I think would also be nice is if you slow down the jump arc. Okay, you will notice games like Street Fighter, jumps are very floaty and very very slow. Jumps are really slow. It gives you a lot of time to react, a lot of time to make a decision and anti-air. But for some reason in MK11, jumps are really fast, and I think it makes it a big struggle to try to react and anti-air before they reach you. So I think they should either make down twos air immune or make jump-ins slower. And I think I like that solution better, making jump-ins slower, because there's still somewhat of a mind game, especially if you have air special moves, because you can cancel in the air, or you can do a jump kick and so on. So I think it would add an extra layer of mind games to it. And I think it'd be a really good change to slow down jump arcs. I mean, it's sad to see that people struggle so much with jump-ins that they stopped trying to anti-air them, and what they started doing is they started flawless blocking them, right? They started flawless blocking them. So, but even that, it can be beaten by certain jump-ins, right? Like if you do a late jump 2, you can block their flawless block attack, or you can just do an empty jump-in into a down 2 and blow up their flawless block attempt. So it's crazy that even when you're reacting to it and you're flawless blocking it and you're spending 2 bars trying to stop this attack, you can still get blown up for it. It's like the risk reward is so fucked. It's so fucked. In my opinion, I feel like jump-ins should be done on a read. You jump over a fireball, or you jump over a low, or you make something whiff by jumping, and then you come down and you hit them, you punish them, right? That is good. That, in my opinion, is how jump-ins should be used. But to jump in neutral and just get free mix-ups, free pressure, free plus frames is insane to me. Why is that a thing? I mean, this game, as I mentioned earlier, there's almost no real 50-50s in this game, right? Most of the mix-ups, like the major way you're going to be opening up your opponent in this game is with strike throw mix-ups. But the problem with that is when the opponent holds up, they beat the throw and they beat the strike too, because your string is going to whiff. Or worse, they're going to break away and they're going to wake up and punish you. So this mechanic completely destroys the structural mix-up of this game, which is the main method you're gonna use to open up your opponent. So I think it's a huge issue. Jumping, I think it's a huge issue that needs to be looked into. And what's funny? They did something about it in the past. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in the past, jump-ins used to be more plus.
Yeah.
In the past, jump-ins used to be more plus. So they fixed it, or they didn't fix it. Let's say they adjusted it. Right? They can still be plus depending on when they're done. They can still be plus, but if they're done early enough that you can't anti-air it, they're not plus anymore, which is nice. It's a good change. The problem with that change is it also introduced the jump kick OS. It introduced the jump kick OS. So on one hand, they made jump-ins weaker by making them more minus, but then on the other hand, they introduced the jump kick OS. And when I first saw it, honestly, I thought, okay, you know what? That's fine. I'm pretty sure they're gonna fix it because obviously it's not intentional. Obviously, they thought the jump kicks were too powerful, so they nerfed them. And I'm pretty sure this buff, this jump kick OS was not intentional, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna get fixed. No worries. And yet here we are, over a year later, it's still in the game, and I'm pretty sure it will be forever. And it still hasn't gotten fixed. And I don't understand why. And also, making jump-ins more negative. Let me show you how little that matters. Because after a jump-in, if you see the amount of... Okay, let's make him not do a reversal. If you see the amount of pushback that you get after some jump-ins. Maybe Aaron Black is a bad example. But you can almost always backdash after a jump kick, even if it's done early, right? So let's say I'm gonna play as Garrus here. I'll be at default range. I'm gonna have Aaron jump at me, and look, his jumping is gonna be minus, right? Let's try and make it minus. I can only make it 0, but okay, fine, 0. I can't check him after this. He can always reset neutral after. Why is it whiffing now? Because jump kicks, basically, because of the pushback they have, they will usually just reset neutral. I guess because Aaron's jump arc is different, I can't make him minus. Let me try with Garrus. Alright, -5. How do you check him afterwards? It just whiffs. It goes away. Like, he can just backdash, even if it's minus. So it's not even, like, that big of a change. Making jump kicks more minus. It's practically neutral after a jump kick. I mean, I think Aaron Black does have good options to stop this, like a down 4. He has a really fast, long range down 4. But not everybody has a down 4 like Aaron Black. Almost nobody does. Right, you got maybe like Johnny Cage also has an 8 frame down 4, but there's not many characters that have an option like this. Most characters will just have to accept that neutral will be reset after this jump in. You'll just have to accept that. You'll just have to live with it, which is really unfortunate. Alright, let's try and get back to this presentation. Let's see. I broke it. Sorry, give me a second. Anything else you guys want to say about jump-ins?
Not really. I mean,
All
you
right.
covered it pretty extensively, I think.
Yeah, like most of the stuff you said, I just learned it by now. I mean, you know.
Yeah, all right. So Trixie, if you have any questions, just ask me in the Discord, okay? Ask in the Discord, and I'll try to answer you later. But for now, we want to finish this. We're already 2 hours in, and we're not done yet. All right. Next thing we want to talk about is wake ups. Wake up options are too strong.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Go ahead, Usman. Go ahead. My voice is fucking tired. You can go ahead with this one.
I think the main problem is Mortal Kombat 11 as a game, like the core of the game. I think it very much dissuades aggression, right? There are a lot of options if you're a defender, but there aren't many options if you as an attacker. Like if I knock you down on the ground, right? So I'm supposed to technically have advantage over you since I knocked you down. I have plus frames. Right? I ended my move I ended my combo in the most advantageous attack, so I can have the most advantage when you're on the ground, right? Well, let's see. Let's say I dash in. I don't want to meet you, so I choose the meaty that's appropriate for the hit advantage that I used. Okay, I go for my 11 frame mid. You roll behind me and you get the full combo punish. All right. You can. That's one of the options. Then you can also roll back and then roll back and then also punish. All right, that's another option. So let's say I wanna like grab, right? I go for a grab, and then you have two more options. You can what's it called? You can do an up 3, where you can just get back your turn, basically, you get an attack on me, or you can do an up 2 and get another combo out of it, right? So that's 4 options, right? So you got rolling back, rolling forward, doing up 3, and then do up 2 attack. And all these things, I as an attacker have to be the one to guess what you're gonna do. Even though I knocked you down, I am at a disadvantage because I have to be the one to guess what you are going to do, right?
Yeah.
And so that's first thing. Second of all, let's say these are 4 options, but there's also even more options that you technically have as a defender, right? Let's say I go for my meaty and you decide to flawless block on wake up, right? That's another thing I have to count. So not only do I have to account for you rolling, not only do I have to account for you doing a wake up attack, okay? Not only do I have to account for you doing your up 2 or up 3 attacks as well. I also have to account that if I do a slow enough move, you can flawless block attack it easier for you. So you see, I knocked you down on the ground, and look how many things that I, as an attacker, have to consider before even getting close to your body on the ground. Like, can you imagine? Like, this is one of those like really insane things. And of course, let's not forget about wake up jumping. That's you always hold up on your controller, break away, and then you get to punish on me. Just like you're demonstrating on wake up on characters who are just standing up. But this also applies for characters who are standing out. So, for example, for me as Jade, if I dial in my back 3-4-3 string as a meaty, and you hold up and then break away, you can still punish it. Like it's insane. Like how much options you have.
You're getting punished for making the right read. He was holding up.
It's insane.
He was holding up. So if you went for a throw, he would have punished you. So you went for the right read. You made the correct read. You went for your mid, and you still get punished. Yeah. It's extremely frustrating. Oh, it's Scoseca.
The game isn't doing anything. The game itself, the mechanics of the game aren't doing anything to help me as the attacker. Like it's just, it gives you like 6 options to choose from: holding up, doing your
boys.
attacks, doing your sorry. Was there?
No. Continue. It was small. Continue. We'll get to Scoseca in a bit.
Continue.
So it's giving you all these options as a defender on the ground, but it's not giving me anything to gain from getting close to you or something like that. I'm getting punished as the player for knocking you down on the ground. I'm legitimately getting punished. That's why things like combo enders, which keep you standing up, are so good, because they because they just remove your options, your wake up options.
Yeah.
I actually benefit from not knocking you down on the ground, which is just insane. I think it's one of those things where I don't understand why they designed it like this. I think that I don't want to talk about false blocking and stuff like that since it's not very related, but false blocking can relate to this in the sense that you can also false block on wake up, which is like another mind game that I have to play with. Do a fast attack, do a slow attack, and stuff like that. That's my opinion on wake ups. Too much, way too many options for the defender.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them having a lot of options if the risk reward was still in my favor as the person attacking. But I genuinely feel like it's not, because I'm guessing just as much as they are guessing, if not more. In fact, the person knocked down can do certain OSs that will cover multiple options that I have and will fully punish me for doing them, but at no risk from them whatsoever. They can take 0 risk, but still cover multiple options from me. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm mainly speaking about the delay wake up into flawless block. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is something that I think we need to mention, which is that the wake up system was not always like this, by the way. The wake up system used to be very different in the past. It was very different. Wake up animations were slower, which made it so your wake up was always reactable. You can always stand up on top of your opponent and react to see when they're going to get up, and then meet to them with a throw or a mid. So your strike throw mix up was always like practically guaranteed. They could still, up 3 you or roll, but between delay timings, because in the past we had short delay and long delay and instant get up, between those 3 wake up timings, your strike throw mix up was still guaranteed as long as you had a fast enough mid. And from my testing, at least if you're playing online, you need at least a mid that is 11 frames or faster to be able to recover, to be able to react to your opponents getting up and then enforce your strike throw mix up. And then they reworked the wake up system. And to be fair, it definitely needed changes. They reworked it and they made some good changes and they made some bad changes. They made some really, really, really bad changes. And I'm going to explain what I mean. The good change that they made is they reduced the amount of delay wake up timings, right? It used to be that you could do instant get up short delay, and long delay. So you had 3 options. These are, I'm not talking about, wake up rolls or wake up 3 or wake up jump. I'm just talking your delay timings, these options cost no resources from you, right? Delaying your wake up is completely free. It costs no bars. It costs absolutely nothing. It costs nothing. You used to have 3 of those options. When they reworked the wake up system, they made it so you only have 2 options. You have instant get up, or you have delayed get up, and that was it. You had 2 options. I like that. That's good. What they also did is, for whatever reason, they made the get up animation faster. What that means is, you no longer can react to your opponent's get up and then meet to them, right? Now, what you had to do is you had to make a read. You cannot react to them getting up anymore. You had to make a read. You had to make a read about when are they going to get up. And once you make that read, you have to either commit to a string or commit to a throw to enforce a strike throw mix-up. To enforce a strike throw mix-up, you would have to read when they're going to get up and then decide, am I going to commit to a throw or am I going to commit to a string? You can, of course, just do a single button. That way you'll be safe from, get up rolls and between, the mixed up, mixing up their delay timings. If you just meet it with one button, like meet it with a stagger, like, back one from Liu Kang, you'll be completely safe. But then on the other hand, if they actually wake up ducking and you hit them, you're not going to be able to hit confirm one hit, right? So it's not really a strike throw mix-up. So your strike throw mix-up is basically completely gone. It's not completely gone. You can still do it if you make a hard read on their wake-up timing and make, the correct decision. And it can be really frustrating doing something like that when your opponent can do something like delay wake-up into flawless block. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and knock down Aaron. I'm gonna record myself knocking down Aaron, and I'm gonna do a throw, and then I'm gonna do a mid, right? There's a meaty throw, and then there's our meaty, and then there's our meaty mid. So you would think, okay, these are 2 options, right? These are 2 options that I have. So I'm guessing you would think that the person knocked down would have to guess between that throw and between that mid, but they actually don't have to guess. Not only do they not have to guess, they can also fully punish both of those options without a risk. And I'm gonna show you how, right? All you have to do is delay wake up. When you see him throw, when you see him whiff the throw, you down 2. You'll get a down 2 KB into a massive punish, right? And if you see him do a string, you wake up flawless block and you up 2, right? So now you're covering both of his options, even though he's the person that just knocked you down. So you would think he would have the advantage. But really, he's the one guessing. He's the one guessing, not you. So, layer on top of that, wake up rolls. Forward roll and back roll. Okay? Because these things will have different ways to deal with them. And then layer on top of that, wake up 3. Layer on top of that, wake up jump. Layer on top of that, wake up buttons. It's just like the amount of options the person knocked down has is ridiculous. And half of them,
excessive. You're right. Yeah, it's like too much.
And half of them are invincible. Okay? This is something that I think they really need to do with this game, is they need to allow the person attacking to spend resources to have a better risk-reward ratio. Because this is something that, the defender can do, right? If they want to go for a low-risk option, they can just back roll, right? Back rolls are very difficult to punish. So you spend 1 defensive bar, and you become almost completely safe. It's very, very difficult to punish a back roll, unless you commit to a throw, but that's only going to be 13% damage, and a commitment to the throw, as I just showed you, is suicide if they decide to delay wake up, which is free, by the way. But you, as the person attacking, you have no option to spend resources to improve your odds, right? The person defending can do, roll, up 3, flawless block, he can spend resources to improve his odds. But you, the person attacking, there's nothing you can do to improve your odds by spending resources. You can put your opponent in a hard knockdown. and you have access to a fatal blow, you have access to 2 offensive meters, you have access to 2 defensive meters, and you will still be forced to guess. You will still have to guess, and you have no way to improve your odds except by basically meeting with a poke, maybe, or meeting with a single button, or, and this is the meta of the game, after you knock down your opponent, what you need to do is you need to run away. As insane as that sounds, that is the correct play. The majority of the time, that is the correct play. That is the most optimal thing you can do after you knock down your opponent, is you begin to run away. You run away and you go back to zoning, or you throw projectiles, especially if you have a health lead. That is your optimal decision, is to run away after knocking down your opponent, which is insane. It is insane. Rather than, continuing your pressure, the game almost pushes you and is like, no, don't do that. That's too risky. Just run away and keep doing sand traps. Run away and keep throwing projectiles. That's what you should do. The game pushes you towards this playstyle, which is, for most people, very boring, including myself. I want to keep pressuring my opponent because that's the fun part of the game. I don't want to do sand traps all day. I don't want to throw projectiles all day. I don't want to be running away all day. I want to keep pressuring my opponent. That's the most fun part about the game for me. But the game punishes me for doing that. It punishes me for being aggressive. It pushes me to a more lame, boring playstyle. Okay, I know there are some people out there that enjoy zoning. They love running away. They love keep away. They love zoning. Okay, great. More power to you. But I hate that even when I'm playing a so-called rushdown character, or a grappler. Even if I'm playing a grappler, after I knock down my opponent, I still have to run away and zone if I want to win. That is still the optimal play for me. Even playing as a grappler with a crazy good mid-command grab, I still have to run away after knocking you down. That is insane to me. That ruins a lot of the fun of the game.
Yeah, this is very much built into the core of Mortal Kombat 11, where it really is like very, very much a defensive game. I think it on top of that, like it would be easy to maybe encourage more rush down, right? If for like one of the examples I'm thinking of is the meter system. The meter system it's tied to time, right?
Yes.
So why don't you make it like something like Strive, for example, or even Mortal Kombat X, right? Mortal Kombat X had this as well, where the more you pressure the more you're doing strings on block, or the more you're doing strings on hit, that will fill up your meter instead, or that will help fill up one of your meters instead. This could be like a small thing which could encourage aggression in this game. But at this point, the way this game is designed, because it's so defender centric, right? If you're on the ground, you get like 8 different options to choose from. Well, the guy who's attacking you becomes a disadvantage somehow. Like you knock him down and then you become a disadvantage. And even stuff like the flawless block system in general, like this crazy thing that you'll never hear in any other fighting game, right? Like if you like this thing where if you down one an opponent, right, you get your hit advantage, and then you try to jail your down one into another string, then the opponent just flawless block your jail and then punish you for it. So you're literally getting punished for jailing in your strings. Or even stuff like the breakaway system, right? I'm playing spawn, right? I confirm my forward 2 string into my launcher. So that's it. So I'm playing spawn. I did the effort. I hit confirmed my string. I'm like, okay. So the first attack hit, I'm gonna go into my combo, and then I try to do my combo, and the opponent takes away, and I get punished.
Yeah, and you're spending resources too. You're amplifying the move, and still you're getting punished. I think pretty much every single option that you can do up close in this game can be punished. With a flawless block, with a jump, with a breakaway, with whatever, it can be punished. But the only thing that is foolproof in this game is projectiles. Right? It is foolproof, at least 90% of the time, unless maybe your opponent has a teleport or something. But that is like pretty much the most optimal way to play this game, is to play keep away and zoning rather than rush down and aggressive. Scoseca, you want to say anything?
For me, the way to fix all this shit, as you said in one of your streams where we talked something about this a lot of time ago, is to like add new properties to attacks, like big knockdown that get rid to some of those wake up options, so you can actually meet it or something like that. Because as you said, for me too, it's very boring to run away after you're pressuring somebody and you have to go away actually to win. For me, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
and boring.
if you don't know what Scoseca is talking about, I've spoken about this this knockdown
Like
issue.
it was a
in the
streaming,
past.
yeah, about
Yeah.
only about wake up options, something like that.
Yeah. I did
how to fix the wake up system, something like that.
Yeah. I basically broke down all the wake up options and all the meteor options that you have, and we try to sort of measure the risk reward of every single option, and then give that option a rating from S to D, right? Or from S to F. Sorry, from S to F. And clearly you can see, like these are your okay options. These are your options after you knock down your opponent, and these are your options when you wake up. You are the person who is knocked down, and as you can see, they're almost completely even. They're almost perfectly even, if not better for the person knocked down. They're almost completely even. You truly have no advantage as the person that knocks down the opponent. You truly have no advantage. As long as the defender has resources, you have no advantage at all, because it's just too risky. And I also I wrote in some suggestions here about how to fix this problem. One of them was the one that Scoseca mentioned, which is that hard knockdowns remove some wake-up options. So, for example, with Giris, if I end my combos with 4-3-2, that would be not optimal. It would not be optimal. I would sacrifice some damage, but it gives a hard knockdown, and that hard knockdown would remove some of their options. So maybe after a hard knockdown, they can't delay anymore. I would be fully willing to sacrifice that damage to reduce their wake-up options, right? Another thing they can do is they can increase the cost of rolls, right? Especially, I mean, the way bars or the way meter is designed in this game, you have offensive bars for offensive actions, and you have defensive bars for defensive actions, right? But rolls, especially forward rolls in particular, in my opinion, are almost more offensive than defensive, because they could potentially lead to a full combo, right? You're rolling forward, you're attacking, right? And you're also being invincible. You're making them whiff, and then you're punishing them for that. I feel like that should cost one defensive meter and one offensive meter, right? It should cost 2 bars, I think, which will maybe discourage people from using these options so much. Sorry, what did I miss from the chat? Did somebody say something? What are you saying, Desu? What did I miss? Let me know what I missed. Send it again. I've been too focused on this. I'm gonna miss what you guys said in the chat. Just repeat it, or tell me in the Discord. You're less likely to be missed if you send it in the Discord. Meteor jump pins are considered meteor mid in that list. Yeah, meteor jump pins. Of course, you can only do a meteor jump pin if you're plus enough. You would have to be very plus to do a true meteor jump pin. You'd have to be very plus, but even then, it's still not a very strong option, because you can be easily flawless blocked. You can be obtude, or they can just do delay wake up and make your jump in with. So yeah, let's continue with the suggestions. Another thing is that making a delay get up costs a bar, right? I think it's silly that delaying your wake up is completely free, especially considering that your get up animations are not reactable. So it's a true mix up. You have to make a read. You cannot react to delayed get up and instant get up. You cannot react to it. You have to make a read. You are forced to make a read, and so the person knocked down can force the other guy to make a read for free. That is insane to me. I feel like they should either make the get up animation slower so you can react, or they could make delays cost bar. Another thing that would be nice is if they make roll recovery slower, so it's easier to punish rolls, because I'm sure, as you all know, rolls are very difficult to punish in this game.
Yeah.
Like, even when you know what's gonna happen, it can still be very difficult to time your punish correctly, because they're invincible for the majority of the time. They're also rolling, so they're low to the ground. So if you use a high attack, it might just straight up whiff. So you should use a mid instead, but mids are going to be slightly slower, so it's going to be hard to time it, because the recovery time of rolls is very, very quick. It's very difficult. And as I mentioned earlier, you can another nice change would be if they would allow the attacker to spend resources to basically improve their risk reward. Because the person who's knocked down, they can spend resources for up 3, back roll, forward roll, but the person attacking has no options like that. He has no options like that. He has like strike, throw, jump, run away, and that's about it.
I mean, for me, yeah, go. Sorry.
I think it's getting a bit late here. It's like 11:15 p.m. and yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I might leave.
Yeah, it's all
I am
good.
gonna leave in a bit.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, it's all good.
So,
Thank you very much for being
yeah.
here. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll
It was
just
great having you, honestly.
yeah, for sure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think overall, my general, I guess I can give like a general summary of my general opinion on Mortal Kombat before I leave very quickly. I think it's just, I think Mortal Kombat is a good game. I think I'd be insane if I spent 1,800 hours in a game that I don't like. Right?
Right.
There's no way. Right? So, I think it's a good game, but I think it's a game that is very much plagued with issues. And the saddening thing about those issues is that they feel like very easy to fix, a very logical way to fix them. Like it's very obvious how you could tackle these issues. But I
Right.
think that the problem with Mortal Kombat 11 is that the developers, like NRS in general, hasn't been patching the game often enough to fix these issues, right? So at a certain point for me, I'm like, okay, I put 1.k hours in this game, and at this point I'm like, I feel like I'm done with it, right? These issues have been there for a long time. The game's getting stale. There's not enough patches to make the characters more unique, more fun, and I think I'm done, right? Definitely if NRS releases new characters, maybe come back and give it another go. Maybe if there is a big balance patch where they actually give some characters decent buffs, like I think character like Devora maybe gets a decent buff, or maybe these characters that had been on the bottom for a long time get some decent buffs. I'll definitely come back and check it back again. But yeah, I enjoyed. I think my general opinion right now is I'm gonna try playing Guilty Gear until Mortal Kombat gets fixed, and probably if Mortal Kombat gets fixed, I'll probably get back and play more Mortal Kombat. But yeah, thank you, Thamer, a lot for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
And,
thank you so much.
Hope
You've been
everyone has a good
absolutely
time. Okay,
wonderful.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.
Yeah, just to add on what Evil said right there, it is very frustrating and discouraging when you spend, 2,000 hours playing this game, supporting it, hosting events for the game, joining events, joining tournaments, hosting events. You're putting so much effort into this game because you love it so much, and then all you ask for in return is please ban this cheater. Please just ban this cheater. That's all I'm asking for. It's not that hard. Just ban this cheater. Everybody knows he's cheating. He's ruining our experience. Please just ban this guy. Please. And we don't even get that. Please just fix this whiff issue with my character. It's making me hate the game. Please fix this issue. And we barely get anything in return.
It's so simple, like. But they're not doing that.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
For me, the biggest thing I hate about them NRS is that, like, they just don't tell us anything. Like, at least tell us the game is dead. We're not giving you anything new.
Yeah, they're just posting memes.
I would be fun. I would be done. Okay, it's okay. I love the game. It is okay. I do not expect anything else. But like this, with the fucking Ed Boon saying shit, like the Tom and Jerry picture on Twitter, that the name of the file was E3, piece of shit. Playing with our souls.
Yeah. I mean, still to this day, we don't know if we're getting more patches or not. We have no clue. We have no way.
I mean, a lot of people want KP3. I just want a big, useful patch.
I want a patch more than anything else. I want a patch more than new characters. That's for sure. I will take a patch over new characters. All right.
Like, I'm okay with the characters right now, but still.
All right. Let's try and finish these points. We're gonna be done soon. We have just a few more. Just a few more, guys. Just a few more. Next, Breakaway. We've already talked about Breakaway extensively. I think it's a very obvious issue. And I do like the solution they offered with armor breaks. I think armor breakers are a great idea. And even, I think Breakaway, just as an idea, I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. Just as an idea, I kind of like it because then it allows you to balance around the unbreakable damage that characters have. So, for example, you can give somebody like Spawn very high damage, but you can break away very early into the combo. So most of it is breakable. And then on the other hand, you have characters like, say, Joker. Joker has high damage, and a lot of it is also unbreakable, right? So that makes him even stronger. So you can kind of balance around that, right? It's not just about high damage and low damage. There's more levels to it, right? It's high damage and high unbreakable damage, or high damage and low unbreakable damage, and so on and so forth. So I like the general idea of breakaway and having an extra mind game of armor breakers and unbreakable damage and so on. I like that. I think all they need to do is simply increase the recovery after breakaway, so people don't get up from breakaway and steal their turns, or wake up from breakaway and punish you for doing a combo. I mean, how insane is that? You imagine chasing down your opponent for a full minute. The round is almost over. You finally open them up. You go for a combo, they break away, and they get up and punish you. That is
this connects with all the other problems because with the meter, because it's so hard then to open up someone again that there is the risk that they have the meter again to break away again in the next combo. So this is so frustrating, especially with characters like Spawn. Characters that have no mix-up that you just need to block, and they will never open you up basically.
Yeah.
Unless you make a mistake. No,
I mean,
it's very frustrating.
Spawn does have a good auto shimmy though. He does have a good auto shimmy, let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Just a little bit of downflare from Scoseca, that's okay. I'll allow it, it's okay. But
no. Spawn is broken, don't make me wrong.
Bro, you don't pain.
But
Punish death.
I do really like the addition of armor breakers, but I think it's very obvious and it's very plain to see.
Yeah, but it's another problem like that. Yeah, armor breaks are cool, but how many characters have
not for everybody.
Good armor breaks?
Exactly.
That's another big problem because on paper everything is super, like flawless block on paper, one of the best mechanics in fighting games. But then there is flawless block on it.
Exactly.
That's not fun for sure.
And
same with the armor break.
All you gotta do is fix the bad parts of that mechanic, and it's gonna be one of the greatest mechanics in fighting games. Like you said, flawless blocking is an amazing mechanic, but it has this little issue that's ruining it, which is flawless blocking on hit. And it's so easy to take that away, and nobody's gonna complain about that. Maybe some people will complain, but the majority is gonna be happy with it. It's gonna make the game better. It's such a simple change to make, and I just don't understand why they refuse to make it. But to go back to what I was talking about earlier, armor breakers are a great addition, but it's unfortunate how everybody seems to get good or bad armor breakers completely randomly. Some people got amazing armor breakers that made you never want to break away against them, like say for example Cabal. And then on the other hand, some people like Sonya got armor breakers that were literally completely useless. Completely useless. There was never a situation where you should armor break with Sonya. Because literally her down 2, if you do down 2 instead, you will do more damage, and if I'm not mistaken, you will be more plus on hits also. And it will leave them closer to you, so you're more likely to get another mix-up in. So it makes no sense. Clearly, the mechanic wasn't planned for from the beginning. It was just something that they came up with after the game came out. So it was difficult to add new moves. They just had to use the existing normals and the existing special moves that characters had. So that's why most of the DLC characters that were designed after the mechanic was introduced, they got good armor breakers, right? Most of them, not all of them, but most of them have good armor breakers. But the characters that weren't designed with armor breakers in mind usually just got terrible armor breakers. So it's a damn shame, and I hope that in the future, they design characters with this mechanic in mind, because I do think it's a good mechanic, but it needs to be changed quite a bit. And let's talk about the next point, which is that too many moves disregard neutral. As I mentioned, when we were talking about the good of this game, the greatest thing about it, at least in my opinion, is the footsies, the neutral, the footsies. It's the best part about this game, in my opinion. It's what I love the most about it. It's what keeps me going back to MK11, is to play the footsies. Wave dashing and wave punishing is so much fun. It is such incredible fun. I love it. And then I play against Jackie Briggs, and suddenly neutral is completely destroyed. There is no neutral anymore. It's all about reacting to her jump-ins and then guessing afterwards. Or I play against somebody like Aaron Black, and I try to play neutral, and then he presses forward 4, and neutral is completely gone, right? I would play like a matchup like Cassie Cage against Liu Kang. I love that matchup. It's very neutral heavy. It's very footsie heavy. Every bit of space you gain counts for a lot. Your positioning matters a lot. So you're trying to push your opponent towards the corner. You're trying to gain space. And then you move on. You play a different matchup. You're playing against Aaron Black. And suddenly all of that is completely thrown out the window. You play against Jackie Briggs, all of that is completely thrown out the window. You play against fucking Fujin, oh my god. You're playing against Fujin, and all that is completely thrown out the window. You put him in the corner, he doesn't give a single fuck. He doesn't care. He's gonna get out. No matter what you do, he's gonna get out of that corner. You can't stop him. Whenever it's his turn, he's gonna do back 1-1. Skywalker, he's out of the corner. Nothing you can do about it. Whatever you're gonna do, he's always gonna be checking you with back 2. Like, you're not whiff punishing that. Like, there's no neutral to be played there. It's extremely frustrating, and it takes away from the best mechanic in this game, which is the footsies and the movements. So I do think they should tone it down with these fuck neutral moves, or these moves that disregard neutral. They should tone it down. I mean, I do understand that they need to exist to an extent, like things like, Sub-Zero Slide or Liu Kang Flying Dragon Kick. They need to exist so you can punish long-range projectiles or long-range moves, but at least keep them punishable. When you give somebody like...
Yeah, they need to change the risk reward of those moves.
Exactly. When you give somebody like Aaron Black a fuck neutral move like forward 4 and then make it safe on black, that is completely insane. When you give somebody like Fujin a fuck neutral move like back 2, that can lead to a full combo potentially, and then you make it safe on black. What are you talking? I mean, of course, the move itself is not safe on black, but obviously you can cancel it into things that are safe on black.
Yeah.
So it just makes the best part about the game extremely frustrating. So I do really think they should tone it down with the fuck neutral moves. They should make them riskier and less rewarding. Anything you guys want to add on top of that, or should we move on to the next point?
No, I agree with everything. They just need to change the risk reward of all those moves, and that's it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I want to mention is the hitbox issues.
Damn.
Legitimately, more than half of the mids in this game can be low profile. More than half of the mids in this game can be low profiled. Okay? And this is not just by one guy or one specific move. No, it's a lot of guys. Is Aaron Black, is Johnny Cage, it's even Jackie Briggs with her backdash. It's Sechion, it's Jade, it's Kitana, it's fucking Kotal Khan. Big ass Kotal Khan can make mids with. It's insane. The amount of hitbox issues in this game are absolutely ridiculous. And there's just, you would think that, okay, maybe small characters, they usually have less HP. Maybe they should have, options like that where they make mids whiff sometimes. Okay, what about Kotal Khan? How can Kotal Khan make mids whiff? Explain that to me. How does that make sense? How is that not a problem? It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And it makes some characters who would be very strong, it makes them very weak instead, because their mids become unreliable. Because characters like, I mean, I don't want you guys to call me a down player, but I have to mention Cassie, all right? I have to mention Cassie again. I'm sorry. You have to excuse me. Her entire game plan is based around checking people with mids, making them block, and then she can begin throwing them and then mixing them with the auto shimmy, right? But that planning falls apart when you can't check the opponent with mids, right? Cassie has some of the best mids in the game. She has a 9-frame mid and an 11-frame advancing mid with a lot of range. Those mids are great. They have great range, great speed, great frames. There are some great mids. But then you play against somebody like Aaron Black. You try to check him with a back 2, and it just whiffs. It whiffs. It completely whiffs. Even though he's mashing. This man is mashing down 3. He's not doing some crazy tech to make your tech whiff. It's not like some specific stuff that only happens in specific situations. This is very, very common. It happens very commonly. Okay? Aaron Black is like minus 3. You're trying to check him with your 9-frame mid. You have a 9-frame mid. You can check him, right? He's minus 3. You can check him. And then he matches down 3, and he goes under your mid. He goes under it. So what do you do then? What's your option then? What do you do? Can you poke him? Your down 1 won't even work. Your down 1 won't even work. Your down 1 will also get low profile.
He low profiles the down 1 too.
He also low profiles the down 1. So you're just forced to play this poking game with him. You have to do down 4. He has to do down 4. So you're just doing down 4, down 4, down 4, and he's going to win that game because his down 4 is better than yours. He has an 8-frame down 4 with a lot of range. He's going to beat you in the poke war. He will beat you. He doesn't care about your mids. He completely disregards them. And I think this breaks one of the most fundamental rules about the game.
I mean, like, there is the problem with Jax against Aaron Black when he does forward 2 1+3. And he can OS it with back 4.
Back 4. Black. He can make the string whiff. He can make the
I don't know why that thing is in the game. It's so stupid.
There's so many examples of that. I think Codal has certain things that can whiff. I think 424 into the disk amplifier that can whiff. You got like you mentioned, Jax, Garrus, his 4212 string, his 4212 string whiffs on multiple occasions. The second hit can be low profiled, and the third hit can also be low profiled. Imagine the same string has two mids that can be low profiled. The same string. That's how bad this problem is. It's so common. It's actually ridiculous. It makes mids not work more than half the time. It's a huge issue, I think, and it really needs to be addressed.
Another problem, I don't know if it allows hitboxes, but is strings that like you hit long range string. If you hit it at the maximum range, the second button sometimes it whiffs.
Yeah,
it doesn't connect on it. That's so stupid. Because then there are characters like Cabal that can do a jump through, hit you, whiff completely the first button of their strings, and then keep doing the combo with stand the 2-2.
It still works, but not everybody has that option. And I've seen them fix those issues. I think Kotal Khan had some issues like that, and they fixed them. He used to have some whiffing issues on hit, and they fixed it. But then, what about the other 30 characters that have this issue?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, for example, there's
it's really strange.
Think about the hitboxes issues. Like, there were Raiden when the first days of the game. There were the entire move of Raiden down back 2. Yeah, it connects after you do back 3-2. But against females,
it doesn't
whiffed for whatever reason when the game came out. It in the animation, you can see the lightning go through them, but the move whiffs for whatever reason.
Right.
Or even the forward one, they buffed the shit out of the move. Because even, everybody uses that anti-air now, forward one of Raiden. Because now it has, an insane hitbox. Before, when the game came out, it was whiffing every time. Nobody used that move because it was trash. Yeah, because they needed to buff the hitbox of that move so many times.
It's strange.
But at least they fix something. At least.
I don't know if they have favorites at NRS or something, but I feel like they focus so much on some characters. Like, look at how many balance changes Raiden has got. Look at how many balance changes Kotal Khan has gotten. They've gotten so many.
They clearly have something with Kotal.
Yeah.
For real. Like, he started as the worst character in the game, one of the worst character in the game.
No, he's one of the best.
Then he got a single insane patch, insane buff every single patch for whatever reason.
Yeah, he kept getting buffed. I'm not saying it's a problem that he's getting buffed. He should be getting buffed. He was really bad. He should be getting buffed. But what about Scarlet?
Yeah, what about all the other characters?
What about all the other characters? Why are you paying so much attention to these, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 characters and disregarding the rest? How many buffs have we seen for Scarlet? I can remember maybe 1, and it was so minor. It was such a minor buff. It didn't make a difference whatsoever, and I don't understand why. But I guess that's that's the drawback.
It would be fun to hear something from NRS about this, but I really doubt about that.
I mean, I can understand that being a drawback of having so many characters in the game, but the buffs don't even have to be so complicated.
Yeah, they have so much time thinking about them, so much footage to see in tournaments, stuff like that, to see the real issues of characters. Or even, I don't know, just go to all the pro players, the biggest players on the world, and ask them what we should fix about these characters. Because you cannot go with one single player. You go to Sonic Fox because he's the best. He will for sure, downplay Joker, stuff like that. So you go to everybody, to the biggest, and you ask them what we should fix. And for sure, they do. I don't know why everybody in the game industry does this. They hear everybody. Oh no, Scorpion is broken. Let's nerf his teleport from a mid to a high. All those nerfs that are the Shiva Stomp, all this stuff that is made because everybody cry about that. I mean, those are okay, especially the Shiva one, but you know what I mean.
They killed it. They killed it. It's not playable anymore.
This is not the point. I mean, just they have to go to people that actually understand the game to make it more fun. not to the to all the random people that just cry about everything, like people that say, "Oh, Scarlet is broken," stuff like that. Because yeah, she's annoying, but she's not,
She's not
Setron
too
level,
strong.
stuff
She's
like
not.
that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like Zach was saying, sometimes they will make the wrong decision with these patches, like what they did with the Shiva's Stomp. It went from one of the best moves in the game to straight up one of the most useless moves in the game.
Yeah. And people just dropped her.
Yeah, clearly.
Emo,
And I
the
think
way to fix
they
that
killed the
move
character,
was,
You know?
for me, a good way to fix Shiva Stomp was to make it an overhead, like
Oh. Yeah, that's a
it
simple
was right
fix.
now.
Yeah.
Very very hard to whiff
That's a great
punish,
idea.
very hard to avoid.
Mm.
So, but if you get it, it's not an unblockable, but it's super plus on block. So you can keep your pressure, stuff like this. Emo, for me, this would have been the best,
Not
because
completely
it would have been
destroy
still, you can use that, but it would have been, not that much annoying to fight.
Yeah. I would say make it faster on startup so it can actually be used to counter zoning. Kind of like a teleport. Just make it faster on
Yeah, yeah.
startup so we can punish projectiles. But like you said, make it an overhead. That would be a great change, I think. But instead, they choose to make the move
Yeah, they completely destroyed it.
useless. Like
Yeah,
there's
and
no
now
use for
nobody
it now.
plays Shiva.
Like the move is too slow for you to use it against somebody who's throwing projectiles because they will have time to recover and then avoid it by walking away. And just using it in neutral is just completely useless now. So I feel like it's only
With
good for maybe a move to waste time, just so you can go off screen for a little bit and delay, so you
Yeah.
can let the timer run out. That's like the only use I can think of for it.
I mean, Shiva, she still has the dragon stance,
She
or
still
whatever
has
the
the
name
dragon
is.
stance. Yeah.
Yeah, with the custom move being so stupid.
It's
Yeah,
strange.
I mean, with the one slot custom that is so good.
Right, and it's nice that you mentioned that because that's our next point: is custom
Oh
moves.
yeah, nice. This was all
Custom,
programmed.
like in the start of the game, for the first over a year, custom moves in this game or custom variations were not considered competitive. They were not allowed to be used in tournaments. They were not allowed to be used in Combat League either. And that's for good reason. That's for good reason because a lot of them were very, very unbalanced. Most of them, I would say, were unbalanced. A lot of them were useless, and a lot of them were completely busted. Right? It was all over the place. Right?
Yeah, they were Frost with the 80% unbreakable damage in the corner with a cage.
And look, I like the fact that they made custom variations tournament viable. I like that.
Yeah, of course. This was one of the... But, again, the same problem. On paper, perfect. How to implement it, not that good.
It's a great idea. Given, like, I hated having, the game pick the moves for me. Like, what if I wanted to move 1 and 2 from variation 1 and I want to move number 3 from variation 2? I should be given that option. But what they should have done is spend more time to balance these custom moves before allowing them to be used in tournaments. I remember in that past we had about Frost had some custom moves adjusted. I remember the move you mentioned, Scoseca, became banned, right? I remember Cassie had some moves, had some custom moves adjusted, nerfed. Geras had some moves banned if they were used together, strangely, and that was almost it. Everybody else was allowed to go crazy with
Terminator.
All right, Terminator had a move banned also,
and then Rain,
and Fujin
Fujin had a move banned too.
Fujin.
Okay.
The buffs. I think it's the buff.
Right. But the vast majority, I would say over 80% of custom moves were unchanged and were just thrown into the game, thrown into
the only one
MK11.
that got changed. One of the few that got changed is the one they showed, the Raiden one, the one that replaces the electric fly.
The one that
now, if you charge it, is the Superman punch. That if you charge it, it's safe.
Right.
That's it.
What about the other 30 characters? Why do they get ignored?
Exactly.
How does how does Jackie get to have the leap and the damage over time projectile together in one variation? I feel like the slots obviously should be adjusted because obviously Jackie's projectile is much more powerful than it seems, and it should take perhaps more than one slot, or maybe make her leap take 2 slots.
I mean, the problem is, a lot of people say that to fix this, just make every single move in the game 1 slot. And I think, do you want to see Slide Gas Cabal with something else too? Something like that?
Yeah, Slide Gas definitely should not be a 1 slot move. Definitely should not be 1 slot.
It can be 1 slot, but it needs to be tuned down so much.
Yeah. Exactly. And so many moves are like that. So many moves are too weak or too strong. Like custom moves just were completely ignored. They were just thrown into the game, and only a handful of them were actually adjusted. And the rest of them were just thrown into the game straight away as if they were completely fine, which most of them were not. And the most perfect example of that is Cabal's Slide Gas. How it launched this character from being mid-tier or maybe low-tier instantly to top-tier, just off of this one single move, which obviously is completely busted and should be adjusted. It's a damn shame. I mean, I did mention before that we want characters buffed. We like characters becoming top tier. We don't mind that. That's okay. But becoming top tier off of a single move shows that there's a problem with that move. Being top tier because of a single move that you have means that there's probably a problem. There's probably a problem with that move, right? You should have to use your full tool set to become a top tier character. Being a top tier off of just a single move that you have shows that there's clearly an issue.
That's one of the biggest problems with this game. It's like how one single thing can make characters so broken if you abuse this shit over and over again. And this, for me, makes the gameplay so boring.
Yeah, a lot of characters
like I said, Cabal. I really don't know how people play Cabal. It's literally jump. It's
and it's not the only
especially against characters that they cannot deal with all those jumps.
Which is most of them.
Exactly.
And also you got characters like Geras with Santra. Just one move completely defines this whole character.
I hate Geras so much.
He has to use Sandtrap all the time. Sandtrap. He has to rely so much on this single move. Obviously, they need to rework him. Make Sandtrap weaker and make his other moves a bit better. Right? Make his movements better, maybe. So he can actually play neutral. And make Sandtraps a lot weaker. Everybody would be happy with that. But instead, this single obnoxious move just has to keep ruining the experience for everybody. Like even myself as somebody who mains Geras, I hate that this move exists. I hate Sandtrap so much. I wish that this move was weaker so they wouldn't have to nerf Geras' other things like his movements. Right?
Another thing of another ass is like everybody in the beginning of the game was saying Geras is broken because Sandtrap is broken, and they nerfed something else.
Exactly.
They nerfed they nerfed what? I don't remember. They nerfed
They nerfed 4-2-1-2.
Yeah, 4-2-1-2.
They nerfed his movements.
They
nerfed his damage a little bit.
1-1-2 is fusible. What's all the and they didn't touch the move itself.
It's really strange because Geras' for example, Geras' forward movement was never a problem for anybody. Some people were complaining that it was too easy for Geras to run away and go full screen because his backdash was too fast. And his Sandtrap was so good, it's so easy to just zone all day and run away all day. And he's not the only character that can do that, by the way. You got Setshon with maybe the best backdash in the whole game, or one of them. But for some reason, they nerfed Geras' movements. Not only his backdash, but his forward dash too. I don't understand why they do that. It makes no sense. Just make the Sandtrap weaker, or make the backdash weaker. I'm okay with that. But why nerf the forward movement too? Why does that have to suffer? Why does that other move of the character has to suffer because Sandtrap is so broken? Just fix Sandtrap. Leave the rest alone.
And again, the problem is it's so easy to fix it. Already making a mid. It's, for example, making Sandtrap a mid.
Yeah.
That would make your movement so much better on the screen. Instead, you have to move and crouch to not get it because he's on the screen, so he's a problem. As you said, all these broken moves that destroy the neutral of the game.
Yeah, I agree. Make it mid.
They just make the game so unenjoyable.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fix again. That's the problem.
Right. This next point, I think we already mentioned. We already talked about in the past, actually, which is that the meta of the game encourages lane play too much. Right. The meta of the game encourages you to play keep away, play run away, and play zoning. Right. And this, We've talked about this when we talked about breakaway, because if you're playing up close, you need to worry about your mids whiffing, you need to worry about getting flawless blocked, you need to worry about the breakaway, you need to worry about people jumping on you. But if you're full screen throwing projectiles, there's almost nothing to worry about. Maybe you have to worry about your opponent if they have a teleport. Otherwise, there's almost nothing to worry about.
I mean, there's just a few characters that can do this.
Yeah. And same thing when you knock down your opponent. Even when you knock down your opponent, the game encourages you to run away and throw projectiles, because it gives your opponent so many wake-up options. It forces you to guess. It makes you so scared to continue your pressure. It pushes you to run away and zone. It pushes you to run away and play lame. And I know that there's people out there that enjoy this playstyle, this lame playstyle, this slow
Those
and
fuckers.
this zoning playstyle. But I think it's safe to say that the majority of the player base does not like playing like this, including myself, and I think you guys agree too, right?
Yeah. I am a human being. I'm not a demon.
We like being aggressive. Why?
I mean, it's a fighting game,
We want to fight, exactly.
We don't fight.
We don't start off MK11 so we can throw fireballs.
No. Like for example, look. I mean, I know I hate Aaron Black, but look at Aaron Black gameplay. It's made to make you break your controller. I swear, man. It's literally, you lose the health advantage, against this character. You want to kill yourself. Where you're like, he doesn't make you want to play the game. He just puts the fucking green shit on the ground, and he pulls out the rifle, and you have to walk over him. Try to go to him.
Because he fucking
and you can't do anything about it. It's so boring.
Yeah, and see, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying remove zoning characters from the game. I'm not saying nerf all the zoners in the game. I just hate that even when I'm playing as a grappler, and I knock down my opponent, I feel like I have to run away because it's so risky to continue my pressure. I feel like the game is pushing me to run away. It's telling me to run away, because if I don't run away, they can wake up roll and murder me. They can, wake up flawless block and murder me. There's so much they can do to kill me. But when I run away and I throw projectiles, I'll be completely fine. So I just think they should make it so either, defensive options are not so powerful up close, like wake up options, breakaway, and so on, and flawless blocking on hits. And those issues, if they're fixed, okay, I won't be so afraid to continue my pressure anymore. Or maybe give us options against zoning also. I mean, there's like a handful of characters that have teleports in this game, so they can have a good answer to zoning. And then the rest of the cast, they just have to block and move forward, block and move forward, block and move forward, block and move forward, which is, is doable.
I mean, another problem of the game for me is the archetypes of the characters, because, like, for example, in MK there are zoning. When you talk about zoning, you think about projectiles. But in any other fighting games, it's not like this. Zoning means like Joker that zones you with his forward 2, stand 2, like Spawn with the 3-4.
Yeah.
That's fun zoning to play because it's neutral basically.
Yes, because
but in this game is projectiles. That's the main problem.
That's fun because you can read it and you have answers to it. You can duck. Yeah. You can duck Joker's standing 2 or duck his forward 2. Same thing with Spawn. You can go under it, or maybe you can jump over it, or maybe you can flawless block it, or maybe you can backdash, make a whiff. There's answers to it.
There are some answers. Even if it is difficult, maybe.
Yeah.
It's still, there is a way to deal with it consistently, and it's not boring.
Yeah, but what if Secheon is gonna do a tornado? She's gonna do a tornado. What's your answer to that? What do you do?
Pray to God.
You pray to God.
Nothing. There's nothing because
you just gotta. You just have to take it on the chin, right? I think maybe they should give us more options to counter zoning. Maybe some projectile immune moves, or like I said, make all the defensive options like flawless blocking and all the wake up options and breakaway, make them weaker. DBZ lover, if you want to see the slides, I sent them in the Discord. You can join the Discord, and I sent to this PowerPoint presentation in the Discord. You can find it in the Discord.
Can I use your slides for my university project?
Sure, go ahead. Slides, feel free. All right, we only have a couple. We only have a couple more points.
Another problem I want to talk about is that why there are characters that excel at everything. Like, for example, Liu Kang, he can zone 90% of the cast, basically, let's say. And you spend like 90% of the round to go towards him, and then all of a sudden, if you get close to him, he fucks you because he is Liu Kang,
Right.
I really don't understand the design behind this character. Like, a lot of characters, like, even Cabal has an insane projectile. I don't know who else, like fucking Satrion. Everybody
Right.
that from full screen they destroy everybody else. When you get close, they still fuck everybody else because they have so many tools.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
don't
so many
understand
tools,
about
and
all
then
this.
another character will have to rely on one tool because that's all they got. It definitely should be
Exactly, yeah.
more well distributed. But yeah, we only have 2 final points, and we already discussed armor breakers. So we only have 1 point that, and it's a pretty simple one. So we're nearly done. Which is that Fatal Blow's health requirement is an unfair and lazy way to make the game more fun to watch. Okay, to make games more fun to watch, you need to implement comeback mechanics, and I understand this, right? So I understand why Fatal Blows exist, but having them tied to you losing HP makes the game extremely stupid at times. Because, like, picture the scenario, for example. Let's say you're playing Joker, and you're playing against somebody like Johnny Cage. You're playing Joker, and you're playing against Johnny Cage. Both of you have, Fatal Blow cancels that lead to massive damage. And let's say both of you have 40% HP. Both of you have 40% HP. At this point, to gain the advantage on your opponent, you have to let him hit you. As insane as that sounds, to gain the advantage, if you want to win the game, you need to allow him to hit you. So you lose HP, so you gain access to Fatal Blow, and then the next time you touch him, you're going to kill him. He's not even going to get an opportunity to use his Fatal Blow. You're going to kill him before he gets the opportunity. Because you're going to do a Fatal Blow cancel combo, which is going to do 50% damage, maybe if you're Johnny Cage, or maybe 40% if you're Joker. So it just, like, suddenly, the rules of the game is you hit the opponent until they die. And then suddenly, they have access to Fatal Blow and everything changes. Wait a minute, I don't want to hit him anymore. Because if I hit him, he gains access to Fatal Blow. I don't want to do that. So what do? It just breaks the rules of the game. It's a very strange mechanic. It makes no sense. And it's very frustrating because of that, I think.
Yeah.
And it adds more frustration when you make it difficult to punish on block because of the pushback. People have been complaining about that since day one, and we still have to struggle with this issue. They did adjust them a little bit, but it's still a major issue for a lot of characters, especially when I'm playing Geras. When I play Geras and we're like mid-screen, mid-range, and I do Fatal Blow, there's nothing you can do about that. I'm just gonna do Fatal Blow, and if it hits you, I win the game. If you block it, I don't care. We wait 5 seconds and I get it back. We wait 5 seconds, I get it again after you just blocked it. You just blocked.
I mean, that's one of the most stupid things, that you get it back. It's so retarded.
Like, I just did a fuck neutral move that will win me the game, or win me the round at least, if it lands. You blocked it, I'm still safe, and guess what? I can run away until it comes back, and then I do it again.
Yeah.
That is insane. In my opinion, Fatal Blows, they should only get them, once per round, or maybe even once per game. I don't know. It might even be character dependent.
For me, they are. I mean, Fatal Blow is basically Tekken Rage. It's basically the same how it works in Tekken. You get low to 20% HP, 30% HP, and you get the Rage. Yeah, you basically get the advantage, but there is a big difference there. If you use it, basically, the game, when your opponent uses Rage, the game stops completely, and he does his animation. But so you are completely, you can easily react because you have this 5 seconds animation where you can block, and you can just recognize, okay, this character have this, I can counter with this, okay. And you have all the time in the world to react to this, and it's super easy to punish. No,
if you block it, guaranteed punish, right?
Yeah, guaranteed punish, 0 pushback. And if, for example, you fuck up, you do not punish, I don't know, something like that, still, he will never use that again. He's gone for the round. That's perfect, because if you use it in a stupid way, you just don't have it anymore for the rest of the round, at least. And that's something very good. And another thing is another Another thing I would change is Joker and Johnny Cage Fatal Blow. I would personally I would make that after you do the cancel.
Yeah.
You
lose the fatal blow.
You lose the fatal blow for the rest of the round.
That's such an
Instead,
easy decision
for
to
example,
make. It's so obvious.
Yeah, for example, there was We Play. Sonic Fox was playing Joker. He did such a long combo that at the end of it, he got the fatal blow, and doing the basically after that combo, he got the fatal and the fatal blow instantly. So he basically did 60, no, probably how much? 70% of the enemy HPs in 10-second distance. It's so
crazy.
stupid.
It's crazy. I don't get why, Johnny and Joker specifically, these two characters who are already very strong, by the way, get the special fatal blow cancel mechanic, and they have a crushing blow tied to it. And even after they use that crushing blow, they get the fatal blow back seconds later.
Yeah, that's stupid. Okay, maybe not use the fatal blow, but not for that round is gone. You cannot cancel or start stuff like that again.
Take it away for that round. Give them
or even same. Sorry.
I was saying that I'm really wondering what are the criteria for them when they're developing a character. Like for Johnny, okay, I understand probably because he has no mids, and the fatal blow cancel would be alright. But for Joker, he's already strong character. Like the
he's already so strong.
I don't think they make a character to make him okay. This character is strong. This character is bad. It's just they are both
anyway.
They're very good. They play the strike throw gameplay very well, so they are pressure characters. They need to have even more pressure. The fatal blow cancel, but for me, I would actually remove the fatal blow completely and make it like again in Tekken, where there is the rage drive. That basically is a move that you use. That it's armored launcher, basically. Let's say.
Right.
For me, it's even better. Like because having this. Because at least there is breakaway, so you get it by it, is still not the end, because if you get it by a fatal blow, still 32% at least. It's so stupid. Right. At least you get the combo, you can arm breakaway and stuff like that.
Fatal blows are just.
That's how I would change it, but still.
Yeah.
There are so many ways, probably.
It's too easy to do, too much reward, too low risk. Like many other things in this game, like the wake up options, like jumping. Wait, this is actually the final points I have. So I just want to conclude here. I think MK11 in general is a great fighting game, but I think NRS really messed up with how they messed up with maintaining the game. I think they should have done a better job listening to feedback. They should have done a better job patching the issues of the game, and this would easily be the best fighting game out there right now. Easily, but right now it's I think it's definitely not. It's definitely not up there. I think if we're talking about the greatest competitive fighting games, the greatest competitive fighting games, definitely Street Fighter is leagues above. I would say even Tekken, I would say is leagues above MK11 because because of all the issues that this game has. That for some reason NRS does not care to fix. I don't really understand why. I do look forward to their next game, and I hope that they improve. These they improve on these points that we mentioned. And
I'm pretty sure that, for example, mechanics like not fatal blow, sorry, flawless block will remain in their next game, something like that.
I hope so.
It's such a particular mechanic that I think they will use.
Or the defense bars or an attack bars. I think it was really good.
Yeah. There's a lot of good decisions that were made with MK11. I think it's a very
as we said many times, on paper it's perfect. Something like that. Nearly perfect, let's say.
It has a very strong foundation, right? The neutral, the combo system, the meter system, it has a very strong foundation, I think. But there were some issues in the game that made certain aspects of it very abusable and very frustrating. And if they just put a lot of resources and effort into fixing those issues, I would be playing this game for I would be playing this game 5 years from now still. But it's a shame to see that they haven't been supporting this game as much as we had hoped, and I hope that in the future it gets better. Anything else you guys want to add?
I thank you,
Not
Strive.
really. I think it.
Thank you, Strive, for coming out.
Parts have been touched.
Because I think Strive make everybody that was shit talking MK a bit understanding, how this game actually was decent.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people I talk to, everybody said, yeah, Guilty Gear Strive is very, very fun. But it's so random and meshy, so everybody told me that. I asked a lot of people, what do you think about Strive? Oh, yeah, it's very good. But everybody meshes and it's very random.
Right. Well, before we end, I do want to say thank you so much to Evil Spawn. Thank you so much to ZackFair and Scoseca for joining me. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone that has been watching us. We've gone on for 3 hours. I think it's a good time to end it here. So have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.